don't understand why you're 40 years old and playing the game still. So.
Well, I mean, what game do you think you're going to be playing when you're 40? When do you think you're going to stop playing games? What's the age? What's the cutoff age?
When you're out of high school and college.
You're a high school kid?
Yeah, I'm in high school. Yeah.
How old are you?
Why does it matter?
Well, I mean, you foresee yourself in the future quitting something you love, like video games? Do you not love video games? You just cruise through it.
I mean, I think it's a little bit of a waste of time when you're that old. But
well, how do you know? You're not old yet. I mean, I can think of probably reasons that video games would be a waste of time for a high school kid, too. Do you have a 4.0? Are you in honor classes to get more than a 4.0?
No, but
you know what I'm saying? There's more things you could be doing to improve your life than playing video games too, right?
Yeah, you can study and not play games.
Hey, just recreation, man. Having fun. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
All right, then.
Uhuru, everybody, and welcome to Honey Badger Arcade.
Hola.
I never get tired of that intro. I don't know. Maybe I'm a weirdo, but like, I don't know. I just like that little intro. I don't know what you guys think. Do you think that that's already gotten old? Let me know.
No, I think it's poignant. You know?
Yeah.
I mean,
agreed.
I'm in my early 40s, and you know, like quite clearly, like you know, I probably have more time to philosophize and kind of consider things like that than I did when I was younger. So it actually makes all the sense in the world what he's saying. So yeah,
exactly. So. Anyway, welcome to Honey Badger Arcade. This is the Week in Culture. My name is Brian, and I am here with John, the problematic white guy. And yes, that is a female avatar that I'm using, but no, I am not confused about my gender. So, I don't know. I'm trying to make the defense of this, and but
right.
Trust me, okay? I am a dude, and I know I'm a dude, and I'm a married dude, but Vivian James, pictured here, is more important than me. Or most of you, honestly. So anyway, with that said, let us get into it because there's a lot going on.
Culturally speaking,
on the show. Culturally speaking. Well, I think there's a lot going on globally speaking too.
Right. Well, no, I'm just saying, like in reference to what you were saying about the audience, because I mean, you know, as individuals, yeah, like you know, like you're all important and very much matter. But you know, but yeah, culturally speaking, like Vivian's, like yeah, she's
by the way, I want to mention this while we're live. May as well. So, I am going to be hosting a chat with Airplay, which you guys might remember. Airplay Doc, who created the Gamergate documentary that was in 2 parts. Excellent documentary, very well done, and I recommend you guys check it out. I watched the first half of it on this channel live, and then the second half you have to like be a patron to watch, but it's totally worth it. And I did, and then I had him on, and now he's gonna come on and hang out with me again on Thursday with a very special guest that I've been wanting to talk to for a long time, named Mentis Wave. Mentis Wave is on YouTube, and he speaks. He's a libertarian, kind of a Mises caucus guy. Talks about libertarianism, but he also talks a lot about things regarding what we call the cathedral, which is what a lot of what we talk about on this show is about. It's about the merger of giant corporations, politicians, and academics, and they are our enemies. I mean, that's just what it is.
Fascism in action, as it were.
Yeah. And Mentis Wave is very knowledgeable, and he makes really great content, in my opinion. And he's also very much a lover of Vivian James. Like he gets the Gamergate thing, and he's, that's actually what got him started down the road of talking about politics, essentially, or at least his principles, because ultimately this is about principles, not politics. But anyway, he's got great videos, and they both want to come on, and they can only talk to me on Thursday at I've pitched 4 p.m. Eastern time on Thursday. So first of all, I want to let you guys know that I'm doing that. Second of all, I wanted to ask John, I don't know if you're available to join us, but I think it could be great to have all 4 of us chatting about this stuff.
4 p.m. Eastern, possibly.
On Thursday, yeah.
On Thursday, possibly. I will double check and I'll get back to you. But yeah, that might be a thing to hop in on, very much so.
Yeah, totally. All right, cool. So yeah, he's got good stuff, and I see that some of you guys in the chat know who he is, which is cool too. All right, so let's get into the stories. Do you want to start with this Dustborn thing? You could just jump into that.
I mean, once we get into it, it's gonna take a little. Like I didn't even know about this thing until you brought it to my attention. But once you brought it to my attention, oh my god, it took up like it's a brain bug, dude. Like it's just like munching away at my head like for the last 12 hours. I'm just like, oh my god, like how did I not know? Like this one's been flying under the radar. But this is like, it's like Kim Bel-Air goes on concert tour with like a whole bunch of other others, and they're going to teach us all the power of words, how they hurt, how they heal, how they just are insufferable and make you want to just scream at them to shut up. It's insane and amazing. So I mean, it like we might as well just pull the band-aid off and get to it, because it is.
All right, let's jump into it.
Yeah, dude.
So I actually covered this. I don't know if you guys remember, if you watched my live streams, but a couple of months ago, maybe a month or more ago, I saw the trailer for this pop up on my YouTube feed, and I was like, dude, I gotta look at this. I'm lowering the volume of the music a little bit. And we watched it live, and I reacted to it, and it's pure, unadulterated woke cringe. It's probably one of the wokest things ever made. But let's take a look at the website. So this is wearedustborn.com. Dustborn lead a band of misfits and outcasts on a thrilling road trip across divided states of America. A story-driven action-adventure about hope, love, friendship, robots, and the power of words. From the creators of Dreamfall and Draugen. Okay. So are you cringing yet? Just based on the what is this? The elevator pitch?
Right.
Oh my god.
The blurb enough is just kind of like, oh really? Yeah, like it is just the most junior high, like or just Redditor special kind of, like play on words. It's oof. Yeah. But it does set you up for what you're about to like. It really, I mean, so there is that, like, it sets the tone.
Yes, indeed it does. So the so let's look a little bit. Okay, but let's just look at this out of the way. Okay, this is like millennial wet dream stuff. And I know that technically, John, you're a millennial on the later end, but let's be real. This is millennial shit right here. This is like, I don't know. It's just and when we get into like who's behind it, you'll see it gets worse, guys. It gets worse. But let's look at this video trailer really quick. I'm just gonna let it play, and then we'll talk about it after it's over. You guys remember this, right? Ghosts are coming back.
Kim Bel-Air, everyone.
And they're in a band. Like this is just
other good cringe.
It's so cringe, guys.
Yeah.
And they're just trying to get someplace. And evil white people are in their way.
That's right.
There's something wrong? F indeed. F, is there a problem? Let me check my or are we talking about something else? I'm just making sure the stream is working. F indeed, the cringe was too much for the stream. What's going on with the stream? I'm still connected just fine.
You're good on YouTube. I'm watching it.
Yeah, I'm looking over here. I just want to make sure there's no issues. Yeah, according to the canvas, this thing is
maybe people just
can't
fathom what they're seeing because it is so much to take in. Like it is a lot.
Yeah, that's fair. No, better now. Okay, so I guess that was a little pause. I am, right. My bandwidth is like, being
oof.
Yeah. This. Okay, so we got the robot driving. And we got all this group of very diverse individuals hanging out on this bus, and it's so Scooby-Doo, but in the worst possible way. But anyway, let's get to the rest of it. Oh no!
Fascists, y'all!
A game about hope, friendship, love, road trips, music, family, robots, ghost signals, justice,
Civil War, betrayal. Oh God, maps. But are they actually talking about maps? Or are they talking about maps?
Are they talking about maps or maps? Oh my God. Climate change, America, migration, religion, division, redemption, and the power of words.
The power of words. I got a few words for you.
So,
Jesus.
Oh yeah, and I love this too. The best part, made in Norway.
Yeah,
guys, if you're not
Norwegians
American,
have come to tell us how to be better Americans.
Yeah, the Norwegians are going to tell us how to be better Americans. If you're not American, don't tell us what we're about. You don't know. Like, this is ridiculous. This is the problem with wokeness in other parts of the world. It tries to infect like everybody else. I mean, there was already like a thing.
We're
guys
socialism
in Discord
that works.
Yeah, right. Yeah, also not true, but yeah. So
it's so just arrogantly pretentious, like, oh, we're gonna go hire this like foreign fucking developer to like go make some cel-shaded bullshit story about like like the division in America, and we're gonna like teach people how it's like on them to like choose to not say things that hurt other people's feelings, and that's gonna make everything better. Fuck you. Jesus.
I appreciate the rage. But yes, let's look through the website a little bit more. So here we got, apparently this is the villain, and it's John F. Kennedy. Like what did they bring him back to life and he's a villain now? I thought we liked John F. Kennedy. I don't understand. I'm a little.
He was evidently too white for his own good, even though, like, last I checked, like, he was killed by the military-industrial complex for actually giving a shit about humanity. But what do I know?
Right. Kind of weird. Kind of weird. All right. So here's the story. There is no hope. It's 2030. Wow, that's like really close. That's around the corner, guys.
Right? They're like, come on, guys, eat some bugs already.
Oh my God. It's isn't the Agenda 2030? Yes. It's 2030, 3 decades after the broadcast. You play PAX, ex-con, con artist,
also known as 9/11.
Yeah, right. You've been hired to transport a mysterious package from Pacifica to Nova Scotia across the justice-controlled American Republic. Justice-controlled? But this is not a one-woman job. The fanatical Puritans are on your ass. The authoritarian justice is in your way. You're an outlawed animal. Is that like... This is really
animal. I think it's like, yeah, like
animal.
Cool. I spelled punk with an X. Jesus.
Yeah, right. And you're 4 months pregnant. Just get an abortion. Oh, you probably can't, right? They're illegal.
Right, because the Puritans, and that's what this is really about, is like, I've got to go all the way across state lines.
Damn, Roe v. Wade and its consequences. You need help. You need a crew. Recruit a band of misfits and outcasts with the power of words. Together, you might survive the road trip unless you destroy yourselves first. At the end of the day, there is no hope except for us. And here we got the characters.
P.S. Punch and Pie.
Man.
Every turn. Like, yeah, we're going to find every table we can find to sit down and have conversations while eating pie along the way.
I want to know what your guys' thoughts are on these character designs.
Yeah, because we are going to do a character like there's video clips on YouTube where they actually the cast talks about their characers, and we are going to watch it because that is so tasty. But just looking at them, you feel.
Yeah, this might be most of the show. I don't mean it for it to be the case, but it might be just because
I didn't even know about this thing until last night.
Content there is.
Now it's just like it's like I said, it's like a brain worm. It's just like it gets a hold of you, and you're like, hold on, but why? And then then you just start looking at the cringe, and it permeates all the moments. I had to.
There is some stuff that they're giving the goat away on. There is power in words, and they know that. Like these people know the power of words, and that's like the whole thing that we've been dealing with for like
which is why they're trying to enchant us with them right now.
Yeah. So they're trying to exactly. It's like they're setting us up for this conversation. Now, is this game gonna sell? Well, it's not doing so hot in terms of the like-dislike ratio, and the comment sections under the videos are pretty amazing.
Spicy. I can admit. Yeah. I mean, once you see it, it announces itself for exactly all that it is, and it takes all the air in the room. It demands it is an activist in action as a video game.
Absolutely.
I mean, it is hyper cringe. It is so woo.
Well, let's get into more of this so you can see how bad this gets. Whoever wrote this is like completely divorced from reality. Okay, so you just can't. You just can't.
Loosest of terms, man. Like
yeah.
Jesus Christ.
It says here you just can't without your crew. Do we even still say just can't? Does anyone even say that anymore? This is already outdated language. Your crew is fam.
Hello, fellow children.
Yes, exactly right. Hello, fellow children. The game. I thought this already came out. It comes out this month. It might be out. I don't know. Your crew
the 20th, August 20th.
Oh, the 20th.
I double checked. Like, so yeah, like because they put that graffiti on every piece of video content that they put out. Like, yeah, so it's out in a week. So we are giving everybody a week's like a week of prep time for what is about to be like the biggest fucking woke cringe bomb that's gonna fizzle. Like, because I don't think nobody's gonna buy it.
Good. Okay. And let's see here. This is a cringe nuke. Yes, it is. All right, let me see if John is back yet. Still not here. It's okay though. He'll be back. All right, I'm gonna read through some more of this. Your crew is fam. Again, do we still say fam anymore? Oh yeah, John, you're back. Okay.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. These things happen. I was just reading. Yeah, it's the internet. Nothing is guaranteed. So anyway, your crew is fam. Round up, manage, and look after a motley mob of misfits with peculiar powers, compelling stories, and clashing personalities. So basically, it's like, this is another thing that these people love, is this idea that like, oh, I don't have a place where I belong. I'm so different. I'm so weird. I can only hang out with other weird people. But also, people who are normal are actually weird.
Right.
Wield powerful weaponized words. Words can hurt. Use weaponized words fueled by disinformation in combat and conversations to fight enemies, manipulate strangers, and motivate friends.
They're giving it away right there.
Yeah.
Did you see it? Fueled by disinformation. And what did we say in last week's show?
Yep.
Disinformation is
so basically lie to people in combat.
Right.
Yeah, and oh, by the way, well, there's some videos I guess we could look at, but the people, this motley crew of misfits, they can be pretty hostile and abusive towards each other. And even though the people who are writing this probably don't think that, but in order to create drama, you know what it is? It's like, what was that MTV show, The Real World? It's that. It's that with superpowers on a road trip. It's real world with all of the stupid drama and super.
So it's road rules then, I guess, specifically.
Yeah, road rules. Yeah, but yeah, I guess so. I never
in
watched
their reality world trash. That was the next step. Yes.
Yes. Lat QCD says your crew is lit fam poggers. Skibidi Gat for the Rizzler.
Yeah, dude. The chat is having fun with this, as they should, because this thing is complete and utter shite. Like I said,
yeah, it's ridiculous.
We got a week of foreknowledge, and like, you know, that's what I would tell anybody is like, spread this far and wide over the next week of our lives.
This is gonna sell.
The game comes out because
perhaps tens of copies.
Tens of copies, indeed.
Tens.
I'm gonna be so proud.
I think there's like some really big releases coming around at the same time, like Warhammer Space Marine 2. I feel like there's gonna be, like, despite whatever, you know, concerns people have for Warhammer Space Marine 2, I think the sales are gonna be pretty stark. Okay, but anyway,
Quantic Dream was like a company that we actually, like, you know, was like anticipating what they did. I didn't, and then this, like I said, I didn't even know about it. Like, they've really fallen off. You know, like,
dude.
That Detroit Become Human was cringe wokey stuff, future casting enough.
Yes,
and that just kind of like, and everything since then has just been just kind of like, it's like a fart in the wind. It comes out, maybe you notice it if you're right there when it happens, but generally speaking, by the time like it would get to you, it's already dissipated and nobody cares. And this is, and I think maybe that's kind of what they're trying to get by on, is that, you know, like, they're getting their funding money obviously from the WEF and the United Nations and Rothschilds and other forms of financial funding models, which is why the commercial is all about, like, you know, all these initiatives and, you know, climate change and all this kind of stuff. That's so, like, they're not making the game for us, you know, like, this is commissioned art. You know, this is commissioned by the WF and the United Nations through Rothschild think tank money, and it is the blueprint. And people think that, like, this is somehow going to shift and change, but it's like, we live in an economy that inflation is the model. So your money is constantly being devalued and debased, and so it doesn't cost anything to have propaganda works as part of your, you know, like, when you're doing a culture war, the propaganda is more important than the bullets. Right?
Yep.
Because if you use your propaganda effectively, you don't have to use your bullets. And so that's why this stuff is never going to go away. And that's why I always laugh when I hear everybody talk about, yeah, we're totally beaten woke, and, like, you know, this is going to be the end. And it's just like, no. If anything, you're just beating yourself into submission and going to cope and become one of the useful idiots that they're going to employ to make everybody think that, oh, we've gotten past this problem. Because right now, specifically, there's the emerging thing called safety and fairness doctrine, and safety and fairness policies and terms of service for codes of conduct are going to become the next big important issue in this whole censorship security state that's evolving around us. But I don't want to get too much into that because we are having fun today. Let's continue ripping on
no, but that's all 100% true, and I think that most of us are aware of it, and we know, because, like, what this, I think that the ultimate purpose of this art, and I put that in quotes, is to essentially normalize this absurdity so that we don't have a reaction, so that we don't, you know, question authority, so that we don't take up arms, so that we direct our energy towards the wrong things. I mean, who are the villains in this story right now? Is it the Puritans and the authoritarian justice? What I mean, I know that they're just, like, they think that they're using really clever, like, language to describe this stuff, but it's obvious, but it's
how on the nose,
like, two-dimensional and on the nose what it is. And it's basically all about, you know, normalizing the fringe and making this the normal, or what, like, normal healthy people want in their life. They're making that into the strange. That's why, by the way, just as an aside, the entire Harris Democrat campaign is based in calling us weird. That's like what they're calling us. They're basically trying to put us in the fringe and making the people that they want to essentially support them the normal. And one of the ways you do that, by the way, is you basically make our culture extremely dysfunctional and extremely fringe, and normalize the fringe, and then people who are more likely to like not want to rock the boat, or they're just kind of like going with the flow, or the culture junkies that will accept whatever, you know, tripe is put in front of them as long as it has brand on it that they like, then they normalize that. And the people who have standards, the people who question authority, the people who are interested in normal things like, you know, family and like, you know, caring about your neighbor, love thy neighbor as thyself, just
of life.
Yeah, just like normality, basically.
Right.
They're the ones that are pushed out into the fringe, and that's why.
Which the other thing they do to reinforce that is, you know, they reinforce astroturf wise, like financially, all those fringe aspects of life, and then they do everything they can to corrupt and kind of undermine normal legitimate business and things like that, so that you now see, you know, so they can create the, oh, see, this doesn't even work anymore, and so that's why we have to do all this weird crazy shit that nobody's like ever like even considered, because this isn't working. It's like, well, but why is it not working? Is it actually not working, or is it working exactly the way that the robber barons have set into motion to create you know, the difficulty? So but go ahead. I'm sorry for stepping
No, it's okay. Let's get back to the website though. But yeah, I'm with you on that. And I will say also that more and more people have been speaking out about this. I am it warms my heart. Maybe I'm, you know, seeing it more because I'm in this part of the internet, but I'm gonna make a recommendation at the end of our stream to a video or a channel that I think you guys could check out if you haven't already. It's definitely bigger than mine, so it's not like I'm, you know, making waves for people, but I want to share. I think that ultimately for me, this whole thing is a conversation, and it's been a conversation for 10 years, for the 10 years that I've been doing this, and that's all I want to do, is get people thinking for themselves, get people to question authority, question what they're told, question narratives, and then find the truth, because we are in fact in an info war.
I'll be honest with you. I'm kind of retarded.
It's okay, Alex. All right, but anyway, let's so wield powerful weaponized words. Words can hurt. Use weaponized words, which we just read. And that means essentially, you mentioned Quantic Dream. They're like the publisher behind this.
Developer, everything, I think. Yeah,
developer.
Aside from the money that they took to do it. Yeah,
I thought it was like a separate little team, but like, there's definitely a relationship. And Quantic Dream,
Red Line, Thin Red Line, might be actually the actual studio. But yeah, this is definitely associated with Quantic Dream.
Absolutely,
heavily, it looks like.
Yeah, it's under the umbrella. So, all right, the romance of the road trip. On the road across America, you'll stop at iconic locations in a dozen states, explore strange new places, and take on unexpected assignments, meet a diverse cast of characters, enlist new crew members, and fight your pursuers. Wow. That is loaded with buzzwords. I don't know if you guys caught that. Not just like the diverse cast of characters. That's obvious. But I mean, like, look at what they're saying, okay? Because I bet in the game itself, what you're hearing in this is not going to quite match what you will experience in the game. What do I mean by that? It says you'll stop at iconic locations. So how do they define iconic locations? And what will be the context? Like, for example, if you end up going to Mount Rushmore as one of the locations, which would make sense, right? What will be the context? Will it be a bunch of angry natives that are just pissed off about colonialization? Because that's probably what it would look like. It's not going to be like, oh, look, those are like 4 very important great men, you know, that helped build this country. That's not going to be the context, as an example.
Right.
Another one is they'll probably end up in Washington, D.C. They'll probably end up that's again, because this is all about like social, cultural, and political commentary from the perspective of essentially gay race communists. That's what I'm going to call them. Gay race
this
communists.
Is like Civil War, the game. Like, you know, like if the characters were even more lame and beige.
Yeah, right. And did you say you're talking about the Civil War movie
edition?
The movie that was made by Alex Garland? I didn't watch it because I heard it was trash.
No.
I mean, I knew it was going to be when I when I heard
Yeah,
that again,
exactly.
this is another like when I heard that this guy who's not American, he's British, made a movie about America from his European Eurocommie perspective, I knew that it was going to be garbage because I was like,
Right.
most of the people who have a lot to say about this country don't live here, and they don't, even if they do, they live in like these urban centers, like big giant metropolis cities, and so they don't have like a full picture of what the world what our country even really is.
Right.
They just know it from the perspective of their Manhattan what is it, studio, condo, whatever.
And these international people too that have these opinions that were, for whatever reason, subjected to it. They always seem to have like some kind of think tank association to the WEF and the UN just by chance. I can't ever understand it. It's just quite the coincidence.
Well, they have a global or international mindset. They believe in a global like government, most likely. Yep. I mean,
corporatism is globalism. And that's and that's the thing that most people, I think, have lost sight of over the course of these last 40 years. They act like corporatism is like advanced capitalism, and it's the absolute antithesis of capitalism.
Yes,
it's corporatism that has undermined the capitalism of this nation and made it so weak and hollowed out over the course of the last 40 to 60 years, depending on how you look at it.
Yep, 100%.
And it got accelerated when the stock market got involved to the point that they could do their legalized corruption back in the 1980s through lobbyists, and we're just living in a zombie economy and free fall over the course of 40 years. This is what it leads to. But people want to act like, oh, but we can do this and it'll just change it in like no time flat. So keep fooling yourselves. All we can do is grow our own gardens and take care of ourselves and each other, and try to like see ourselves through this globalist threat. And that's not going to be won through capitalistic means. I appreciate when people think that they're going to like not support the thing and that's going to show them, but they've been undermining your money for decades. So, your attack has kind of been de-weaponized. It's like we're using our sticks and stones, and they're using fucking like direct energy weapons and shit right out of the Matrix. So, but anyways, let's get back to the.
All right. Anyway, So, well, the most important thing is that we don't allow ourselves to be demoralized, because that's like
because there is hope.
Well, as the saying goes, if they had already won, their propaganda would no longer be necessary. Right, and it seems that they're just tripling down on propaganda in every sphere of our life, like wherever we go.
Which is why their propaganda, such as this, is pushing the idea that there is no hope except for us. You need to trust in the activism and the people who want to teach you how to be better, and they'll fix it all for you rather than just actually fix your own shit.
Right.
Whatever.
But they hate the idea of a person who wants to be self-sustaining. They despise that. I mean, that's why. Why is it they attack? The first thing they attack in these games, the first thing they erase, the first thing they change is like the image of the masculine, like men, masculinity. That's the first thing to go. And that's
I'm sure there's a lot of people that would be pissed off in my sphere of influence right now, just seeing what I've done in just the last month of us putting together this show. I've done like so much stuff in the last month. On my computer end and all this back end stuff that it had to be done. Who else was going to do it? Right. So I did it. Yep. And now it's done. Yep. So, and I can now use that success to build on more success. And we're going to keep making better shows all the time and build our audience. And that's because we give a shit and we care, and we're just doing it for ourselves. I don't need anybody else to like come in and hand me the solution. I'll figure it out. I'll figure out 5 ways to get into the same destination if I have to. That's what it takes. That's what it means to be strong and independent and actually based in reality, and not caught in this weird kind of follow the leader ideology game that they've got everybody bamboozled by. So, but again, I keep pulling us away. I do apologize.
No, it's okay. So I was just checking to make sure that I'm streaming on all the places and it's working.
Oh, well, that's good.
Even Twitch. So if you guys if you guys like to watch on Twitch, you can watch on Twitch. Okay, but anyway. So also these other things. So aside from, like I said, that loaded first paragraph, unexpected assignments, meet a diverse cast of characters, and also these other things. Cross a divided states of America ruled by the authoritarian justice from Pacifica to the free nation of Nova Scotia, staying one step ahead of the fanatical Puritans. So
the free nation of Nova Scotia, it's like Canada somehow got involved in it, and it is like the perpetrator of the goodness because it's the
oh yeah, of course, yeah. Canada is.
I almost missed that until you just
no,
Nova Scotia specifically.
Totally, yeah. No, Canada in the eyes of these people, Canada is just plain a better place, and the reason for it is. Honestly,
it's
they'll just be like,
Shangri-La,
they're nice there. They're not mean. Like they don't tweet mean. They're considerate.
Assisted suicide machines. You could just.
I think that legit. My wife is Canadian, and emigrated here, and the longer she stayed here, the more she realized that Canadian people define their identity as Canadians, not by anything historical regarding Canada, not by any relationship it has with be still sort of, or at least being more recently associated with the English Empire or the British Empire, but by them being nicer than Americans. Like they literally think of themselves as better people than Americans, and that defines them. And I'm
absolutely retarded because the first people from Canada leave Canada to come here to be comedians.
Yeah. Now, I'm not saying that Canadians are bad. I'm just saying that it's an issue because this is the thing. One of the ways that Canadians often put themselves on a higher moral plateau over Americans is that they express disgust at American patriotism. They consider it to be, potentially bigoted. It's mean-spirited. It's aggressive. It's competitive. Basically, it's masculine. And sometimes patriotism is a bit cringe, but I think people have a right to be.
Made a bitch made as far as countries go.
Absolutely is. Absolutely is. And they define themselves that way because there is no when there was Canadian.
If it were a nation that could drive a vehicle, it would drive a Prius.
Yeah. That's a good point. When Canada was at its most patriotic that I've seen is when the truckers were protesting, and they were blocking the roads and stuff, and everybody was out waving flags, but that's it. That was squashed, and I want Canadians to be proud of their country and their heritage. I think they should be, but they spend all their time apologizing for living on stolen land from the natives. They do these land acknowledgement. They apologize for being Canadian.
Like the whole industry. Just the fact that they call it apologetics. That's a thing that's big in the Pacific Northwest. As a guy who lived there for a decade. Yeah, that's right on the border. So that's all of Canada.
Yeah, but they are better people than us, and hence Nova Scotia apparently is the Shangri-La, as you said. It is the socialist Shangri-La.
Shangri-La, that's right.
Yep.
It's the standard.
That's why, essentially, the story is you have to escape the divided states of America because obviously it's oppressive and hetero and patriarchal, etc., and get into Nova Scotia where it's all egalitarian and happy, joy. I assume, and I'm okay with making that prediction. That's what I think it's going to be. It says record and remix
I could be wrong,
echoes.
but I don't think that I am.
No, yeah, I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. Record and remix echoes of the infodemic into new weaponized words and manipulate, intimidate, and control the people you interact with. So, infodemic. So apparently, they are
words
crafting the narrative of the story.
Now, like you can be sickened by words. Is that?
Well, I think it's. They may add an actual science fiction or supernatural element into it, but what I think they're doing is they're basically saying Yeah, but what I think they're really doing is they're saying that this is like they want to control reality through words, and they think the bad guys in their story, in their heads, they're actually the ones currently in control of reality. So that's go ahead.
I've said it before. It's the problem with being caught up in your own projection. You can't see past the haze of your own projection.
Yeah.
Everything you just cast that onto everything. So yeah, of course they see this in all this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So anyway,
you're so terrible.
Running through really quick. So apparently, there's dialogue choices that have a branching system. This is par for the course for Quantic Dream. Not really, weird. A story about family, friendship, and hope. Adversity. You're basically oppressed and you're trying to survive in the world that oppresses you. Beautiful graphic novel art style that brings stunning 2D illustrations. Yeah, when I saw it, I was immediately like, oh my god, this is cringe, because like the whole let's make this look like like a comic from game. From an independent comic book art style. I'm sorry, but that's just been done a bunch of times. Borderlands was built its brand on that, in fact.
Yep.
And
this is good. I started warning people about 6 months ago, is that this is gonna be the next big thing, is like the infiltration of the independents, because AAA titles, so many people are just finding them to be cancerous now. And so they are the thing where and they are, obviously, yes. But this is gonna be the next thing where they're gonna do all these stealth AAAs as independents.
Yeah. Well, I warned about this too, because 10 years ago when I was doing Gamergate stuff, a friend of mine, NC Clark or Sour Grape, we would play very, very early indie games made by students that were wanting to become game developers, and they were doing stuff like this. They were like, here's life as a trans woman, here's life as a woman in the workplace, here's what it's like to be Trayvon Martin. It was we don't want this. We don't want this shit. But I knew it was coming, and I've been saying all this time
oppression
that
simulators.
The pressure is going to come from two directions. So you have to say no to AAA gaming, and I mean basically across the board with whatever. If there's a small exception, some AAA game that's great, go ahead. But I think that overall, it's not hard to just avoid anything by EA, Activision, Capcom. Whatever. Yeah,
no, these days, and most of those games you've already bought 5-10 years ago. They just they have a newer skin on them, and
they're doing remakes. They're doing remasters. They're doing
so many
sequels.
Games recycle engines themselves these days. Yeah, most games are skin jobs.
So that's an easy
past
one.
Your nostalgia and your surface level attachment. You probably already own most of these games.
Yeah, like Silent Hill 2. Nah, that's okay. And then just do it in the other direction too. When it comes to the indie games, recognize that most of the time indie games are more political, because the whole idea of because anybody can make a game. If you go on Steam, you can find tons and tons and tons of independent games of various quality, right? Various levels of quality. But the indie games that have the more progressive messaging, the gay race communist messaging in it, is the stuff that's going to get promoted by the journalists, by social media, by even the platforms themselves.
If you're doing those kinds of games, you can apply for specific grants. You can get ESG money specifically for making what are the impact titles is what they call them.
Yeah. For sure. That's
making
exactly right.
Impact. Yeah.
Yep.
So you get social
and that's
impact
important. Money. Yeah, the social impact is important. And so what is it gonna say? You have to be very aware of the indie, and some of the old ones. I remember there's the game everybody keeps gushing about. It's called Braid. I think it's called Braid, and it's like a platformer. And the whole thing is the game doesn't look very good. It doesn't to me. It doesn't have a striking art style. It's kind of ugly, and it's a bland platformer. But the reason why it's put on this pedestal is because, oh, look, you're rescuing the princess, but actually you're the villain and you're the stalker, and she's so it's sort of taking the whole, the simple narrative trope of rescue the princess, turning it's subverting expectations. Hello, Ryan Johnson. And it's reintroducing it. reversed.
It did it 15 years ago when it was at least kind of something that was like, oh,
it was novel.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, it was novel, but I think that like,
but that was 15 years ago.
That's true. But I think that is where this stuff comes from, because it's like,
yeah,
we allow it when it's few and far between. We're like, oh, well, that's a new take on that.
I remember,
but then
when I was in art
it becomes
school,
the normal
thing about like video games are an art form, and we need to raise things up. And so, like, this pretentious kind of concept of like we have to make games that are about, they were putting it into everybody's field of focus and trying to make that the intention of any of your creativity. And that was that was just dropped on people's heads. It's like, well, if you want to make a story that actually is meaningful, that needs to be more about like blah, blah, blah.
Yes, and this is the thing about art itself. Like, you know, what we've talked about before. Maybe we'll do a whole thing just talking about the arts, because I have a good amount of.
I can do a little bit of research in the current day SCAD. We can just like do a whole thing about like indoctrination societies.
And money laundering. Which is just as an aside, you know, the money laundering that goes on. Like, I think video games are used for money laundering now, as well.
Most
I think
definitely.
that might be what ESG money is.
The fact that the revenue models are built around engagement in and of itself is giving the game away, that this isn't about anything that's actually substantial or worth a purchase. This is, you know, it literally is just about cycling, whatever the current thought of the moment is, and keeping everything built around that, and just having the advertising being the thing that's actually happening. And so a lot of the stuff that you see are merely platforms for the advertising to take place around it. And so all this, you know, and that's the thing, is a lot of this money that occupies things comes through in the marketing. And that's why marketing is so key to the censorship and kind of security state, and why they're doing all the stuff that we were talking about with GARM, like why they have those measures in place to say, well, you're going to have to give up your rights, privileges, freedoms, liberties, and all this kind of stuff, because marketing, you know, you need to be beholden to marketing, and marketing needs to be able to not feel as though anything they're doing is going to affect their, you know, viability to make that revenue through engagement. You know, so I mean, that's it. We've created a situation where it's quite literally about the pomp and the circumstance and the cacophonous noise, and what you actually say, think, and do and mean is like not even associated with like the actual business of generating revenue to make money, which is like so weird, because it's just like, all right, so like we are really just caught up in like a weird Ponzi scheme that's all about wealth consolidation, and all we can do is just, you know, keep the distraction going. Yep.
So Norwegian Black Templar, I'm just gonna read a comment here.
Yeah.
It says, gaming is the biggest entertainment industry in the world. Why wouldn't the elite use it to money launder?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's right. All right, so back to the story. Well, basically, you travel undercover as a folk punk rock band and learn to play a set of original tunes around the campfire. All of them will probably have woke messaging, by the way.
I joke about making an industrial punk grass band.
Punk grass?
Industrial punk grass, because there's so many ways to get it wrong. Maybe only one way in the world that you could ever get it right, and I don't even know that it exists. But industrial punk grass sounds more viable than whatever the fuck this thing that they just talked about is.
This is such hipster garbage. Right. This is such hipster trash, guys. So yeah, bad characters, cringe story elements, weird art style that I'm not really a fan of. Again, not new. Like, this was novel once. It was novel once to give it that, like, oh, it's like a French comic book.
Hey, look, it's like Borderlands. Again,
it's like Borderlands. It's like, you know, none of this is new. Oh, and robots. And it's funny, they keep bringing up the robots, and it makes me think that that's a distraction. Like, look at the robots, though. Don't pay it. Like, don't think too much about, like, you know,
the robots are gonna have more characterization and personality than the characters.
Yeah. They're probably, you know, honestly, they'll probably make the same mistake they always make, and make the white dudes the most interesting character.
When we watch the Meet the Cast videos, you will exactly know what I'm talking about, because they're their thing. Like, you know, whatever their activism is about, that's who their character is.
Yeah. So, let's look at some of these screenshots. So, okay, so there's move. So I guess you do actually use words.
Yeah, she's a witch. She's like Forspoken.
Yeah,
different.
Totally.
She's gonna move people with the fucking mind, or
yeah,
her words, I guess. Words instead of mind. Yes. But yeah, it's the same thing.
So, so you're gonna use words. You know, that was another game that I demoed. Oh, I can't remember the name of it now, but it was actually kind of neat. It was like a turn-based, kind of RPG.
Witches really are the mascot of 2024, it seems.
The turn-based thing. What was that? What's the mascot?
I said gay witches are the mascot.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess witches are just gay, like that.
Well, obviously, I mean, I guess I'm being redundant.
Yeah. Black UCD says,
great.
Punk grass band names, Cult of Combine, Weed Thrasher, Sickle Suckers. It's not bad, actually.
That's right. Industrial punk grass, man. I'm going to make it happen.
Do it. All right, so here's a screenshot with some dialogue options. And here's a bit that says, I guess I didn't tell you about my mom, my other mom, the better of my two moms.
Why are you gay?
It's like everything you see about this, it's one more thing, and you're like, okay, this is as cringe as it gets, and then you see the next. Oh my
god. It's the divine feminine, that's right. Resistance is never futile. Again, remember, the thing is never about the thing. It's always about the revolution. This moment only happens once. This is the moment to act, the moment to rise up and stand for something, to protect the weak and speak truth to power. Oh.
Says the company who's propped up by billions of dollars and
to rebel against the forces that threaten us all. We are Dustborn. What about you? All right. So, and yes, this is Quantic Dream. This is Quantic Dream's work. Quantic Dream gave us Detroit Become Human. I played Detroit Become Human. Let me see. They have the thing of their games, right? Yeah. Beyond Two Souls. I played that one. Woke garbage, by the way.
I think Heavy Rain was the last I played with any legitimacy.
Yeah, Heavy Rain wasn't bad. I in terms of the story and stuff, it was okay. Although it doesn't make sense because one of the characters you play as is the killer. Spoiler alert. Right. But for whatever reason,
15 years old.
Yeah, it is old.
But he's not aware that he's the killer until like the last part of the game, where all of a sudden he just all of a sudden my characterization is weird and strange, and now I'm a creepy dude all of a sudden, even though yeah.
Although I will say that it seems that they've gotten more woke as it goes on. So Heavy Rain wasn't bad. I don't remember anything standing out. Beyond Two Souls
used to be about the technology and advancing storytelling, and then they just became about the message,
the narrative
is more,
the narrative is more important than whatever the fun factor might be.
Yep. And then they started hiring narrative. All right, so when I was a little story about me, when I was in art school, I wanted to go in for narrative design. But I'm a problematic white guy, obviously. I was the last person they were ever going to hire. I didn't know what narrative design was until I actually went through art school and realized that, narrative design is the way that they're going to take white dudes out of making video games. Because that's what narrative design is. It used to just be I'm a guy who tells a story. I got a story idea. I'm and that's what it was. But they created narrative design with the intent of the message. That's why it's called narrative design, because it's all about reinforcement and what you want the actual narrative to pertain to. And if it's not the actual story, then what's it about? And it's about all this other bullshit that goes on around what you would have just put in there if you just wanted to write something. And so that's when I realized, wow, narrative design is one of the worst things that's happened in the gaming industry.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Remember when games, some of the classic games that people still have fond memories of, only had enough of a story to drive the gameplay. So it was a premise, right? Like Super Mario Brothers, rescuing the princess. That's the least important part of the game. It's not about what you're doing or why.
It's about the twitch factor.
Yeah, it's about playing the game itself. Or like, what's another one? Castlevania. You go into the castle, you fight the monsters. Nobody's saying, why is Frankenstein and Igor and, the Grim Reaper and Dracula and the Mummy, why are they all hanging out? It's like, that doesn't matter. You're playing the game. Like, it's enough of a premise. You have to go in there and you have to kill all the monsters, right? And like this whole idea of like narrative design, it comes as soon as somebody tries to shatter what I would call the let's say the mystery or the enchantment of these like worlds that people have created in their games. Metroid, like if you play the original Metroid, I don't know if it's, I don't think that Metroid's gone woke. I think of most of the Nintendo stuff has basically stayed out of this, like Legend of Zelda.
They're doing the best they can, but it comes for everyone. So
it does for sure. But yeah, like Metroid, it was like, did we need to know everything about Samus? No. We didn't even know it was a woman until the end. And when that happened, for the people who managed to get that secret ending, it was like a welcome surprise. Like, I didn't know that. Right. And that was the end of it. Nobody said, finally, women in gaming are like nobody cared.
That was like 1985.
Like, is the game fun? Okay, then. Right. That was like,
So yeah, like 30 years ago, we had like one of the biggest gaming characters in gaming history. This has been a woman for like 30 years. So
yeah.
And actually, hold on. 85 is 40 years. Sorry, my mistake. Add an extra decade to that. We're even better.
Yeah. Well, going back to what I was getting at though, like because games had limited technology. So you couldn't really get into a deep story. But even the RPGs, they had enough story to drive the gameplay. But these days, the gameplay for AAA and indie, so it's like, again, that like two directions, right? It seems that the gameplay is in service to the story. Like it doesn't, like it's not the most important thing.
And
so that's why
the narrative aspect.
But that's also why there haven't been a lot of innovations in gameplay or ways of interacting. There haven't been a lot of they just look at what's worked before and they just kind of copy paste that. Oh, cover shooter, I'll just do another cover shooter. Oh, first person shooter, I'll just do that. And then
which is why they have to rely on all that analytical data, because they don't actually have people there that are creative, that are willing to just take a chance and just do something because it's fun and like get a whole group of people together just to try shit and say, hey, let's see what we can do and like ways to augment what we're already comfortable with. Like when we were in art school, we were working with verticality because we were taking on the idea of like just doing kind of arena shooter kind of, maps, but adding a new thing to it that really kind of wasn't, quite there just yet. My friend, he was big into esports kind of stuff. And, he would jump out of planes and all this kind of shit. And so like that became like the mechanic. And so around the mechanic, we started to develop even more of the narrative to justify the mechanics, because the mechanics is ultimately, and that's what I always tell people is like, my story is like there for you to kind of have more to invest yourself into if you're actually appreciating what it is. But ultimately, if I'm doing things right as a game designer, you don't even have to pay attention to my story and you'll still have a blast. Just look at Metal Gear Solid. It's one of the most convoluted, crazy stories of all time. Most people don't even want to know what the actual story is about.
Yeah, right.
But they enjoy playing the living shit out of it.
But the game is fun to play. Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, granted, like, it'll stop and you have to watch like an hour-long cutscene. But like, when the gameplay happens, that's like why it drives. Like I said, that's what drives the sales. Like the story, like you said, is convoluted. I still don't get it, and I really don't care.
Yeah, I mean, I love the story, but I'm weird. you know.
Well,
so,
yeah.
but that's the thing, though. You know, like it is about the mechanics ultimately. That's what games should be. You know, because ultimately, like, what are games? What are movies? What are stories? You know, everything. Like, there's not like a specific one thing for anything other than games are interactive. So maybe, just maybe, the interactive should be part of the actual, you know, integral, concentrated focus of what you're doing. Just a thought.
Yes. And also, but while we're on the topic, I'm gonna share a meme here, and I'm gonna also make a quick comment on this meme. So shout out to the Discord server. There's a link if you guys want to join our Discord server in the description. There's a lot of memes that get shared there, and I'm planning on going through a few of them at the end of the show today. But
thanks for
about the
meme
Borderlands.
rings,
It's about the Borderlands movie. So you guys see this, okay? Yeah. So basically the meme is Goku and Vegeta, and they're like, "Let's fight somewhere empty," and they're inside of the theater playing Borderlands 1 because nobody watched it. And so like the thing I was gonna say about it is that, you know, I watched a few reviews of the Borderlands movie, and here's the thing that I think a lot of people miss that that I think we have to sort of wrestle with, or at least try to get. Okay, video games most of the time they are already borrowing from older media as inspiration. So, you know, Red Dead Redemption, I mentioned this before, Red Dead Redemption
Vice
2,
City wouldn't exist without Scarface or
Right.
so many other, you know, gangster movies.
or like Boys in the Hood or whatever. Like the wouldn't like what, you know, is like the reason why there's a Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, right?
Right.
So these are already taking from something else, something that made a significant impact on the culture, and they're just using it as inspiration for their games so that people can, you know, it's sort of like somebody who's like, well, yeah, I love watching Rambo movies, but I want to be Rambo. Well, here's Contra. You know, that's kind of what it was. Or there was even a Rambo game where it was like a shooter, you know, like a shooter type thing where I don't know what you call it, like a gun game.
Back in the day, Operation Wolf.
Yeah, that was like
that.
Yeah,
that
Operation
like,
Wolf. Yeah, that was a quarter muncher.
That was a Rambo game. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Well, that's because like that was what people were looking to. They wanted to feel like this character,
and it was the coolest arcade game back in the 1980s too. Like, if you don't know, little kids, like they used to have like these arcade games that would have like M16s, like Uzis as the controller mounted, and it was like this game's called Operation Wolf, and it's just and it's parallax, you know, parallax graphics. It's all 8-bit. It's like, it's not, and you just shoot and living shit out of things. It's basically Duck Hunt, but awesome, you know.
And,
it
was definitely a quarter muncher too.
Yeah,
like, it was gonna take your money. The second level, like nobody ever beat it. But anyway, I mean, I'm sure you did, but I'm saying most people, that was like where they ran out of quarters.
Well, you know. We used to have what was called the Fun Palace here, where you could go and spend $5, and like it looked like it looks like a castle, but like it was just full of like all these arcade machines. This is back in the 1990s. Like it's like I think that was where I actually beat Operation Wolf, and I just spent like an afternoon just, you know, because I didn't have to pay quarters. You just keep continuing. Yeah, you can eventually brute force it.
Yeah. So that anyway, my point is that, going back to the thing, the reason why Borderlands failed is because Borderlands is already derivative. So like it's already the game is derivative. It's basically borrowing from Mad Max. It's borrowing from, again, like indie comics about science fiction.
And its advancement
worlds.
Is the interactivity. And so like if you go and step back from that, you're going to diminish the work.
Yeah, I mean, like, I know some people like the story of Borderlands. I didn't really pay attention. I just played the game because the game is like, you know, do a mission, get loot, move on to the next mission, level up. You know, that was it. It was a looter shooter. So like
and it was more about just the collecting of the different guns too. Initially, that used to be a big thing.
It was like I want to get all the guns. Right, I want to collect all the guns. You can't make a movie on that again. He's back. Okay, you're back.
Yeah, it's all right. My internet's being weird today.
Yeah, it's okay. Mine is a little bit weird too. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so most of the time they don't get adaptations right when it comes to a film adaptation of a video game. But if you can think of a good example of one that has worked out, let me know. And I already said that there are some exceptions. Like, I thought that, Prince of Persia was okay. But there's been a lot of duds. Like, I think it's most of them, honestly. And I wouldn't want, and I honestly do not, I know a lot of people say that they want this, but like, I would not want adaptations done of even some of the best video games, because I don't think that they're going to be able to top that. But what's the Last of Us TV show? Is that working for anybody? What about the Silent Hill movie? What about Assassin's Creed? Whew, or that was awful. Right. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I think
they do themselves no favor, because it shows the derivatives aspects more than anything, because like, unless you actually really have developed a contextually rich story that you're taking into that thing, that's an advancement off of these things that were initially, just kind of the inspiration to build up this greater work from that. Well, now you've got that, right? You got this video game, and it's like, it's built on all this stuff, and it takes all these references and all these cues and this and that, but it gets to be its own thing because it's doing things that those other influences couldn't do. And so once you go and say, all right, well, now, like, it's like these people, like, I always laugh when people like are really good at like their job, and then they get promoted to being like a mid-level manager, and they have like absolutely no capacity to do that, but they've now been like, promoted into a position that they absolutely have no qualification for, but they were done for like, these stupid reasons, rather than just saying, hey, we want to reward you, here's more money, keep doing the good work, and actually rewarding the thing that is worth rewarding. They go and they change the focus entirely, and it ruins the shit. And so then that's what happens, like with a video game that gets diminished into, just a standard movie at that point in time, because now all the things that it excelled at and was able to do, it now doesn't even have as possibilities or opportunities. And so now you actually have to look at what the story is. And if that story was built on like, just the premise and just kind of loosely there, and all you're seeing now is all the derivative aspects of it that, put it into motion to begin with, it has to be a lesser work, and there's no way to avoid it. And that's, like Eli Roth could ask me, he could give me $100 to go and say, please go watch the movie, and you can have the remaining, like change from this bill, and I'm going to pay. I still wouldn't do it. Yeah, you can't pay me to watch this movie, let alone get me to pay.
Yeah. I think it's a really difficult thing to pull off. But let's look at Quantic Dream. I'm gonna like go into their values section. Can you guess? Can you guess what their value is?
People those videos about
let's do that.
I want people to see that before we go out today, because it is so good.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, diversity and inclusivity is one of their primary values. So put Quantic Dream. If you're one of these people that wants to avoid supporting woke corporations, I would consider adding that to the list. Quantic Dream
add them to your bingo card.
Yep. Quantic Dream upholds the values of diversity and inclusivity since its inception 25 years ago. Unique and different, each member of our team was recruited for their talent and personality. Yeah, you're lying, because you already said diversity and inclusivity. You can't have both of these things.
Means that they were hired by their checkboxes before anything else.
Let's see. And for who they are as human being. What? This diversity of perspective is reflected not only in our team, but also in the experiences we create. Yes, we are one human being, and it isn't gender.
Right. Yes.
Video games are universal. Yeah. Video games are universal. We care deeply about creating video games that represent the diversity of our players. Omicron, the Nomad Soul, 1999, was one of the first video games to offer playable characters of different ethnicities and parity between male and female characters. Never played it. Was it any good? Like, it's funny because they're telling me how diverse it is, but was Omicron, the Nomad Soul, a good game? Because I've heard
I've heard it referenced. I can't say that I've ever known anybody who's legitimately played it.
Yeah,
like I constantly, like I hear people talk, but it's like, it's like one of those movies that you hear about, like, how did that make money? Because like Avatar 2. I don't know how that thing made billions of dollars. Nobody I know has ever watched it. Wants to watch
the movie?
Like that,
the one with the blue people?
Yeah. And it's just one of those things where how does that happen? Exactly. But yet, so yeah, math doesn't work.
I don't know. Like I watched the first Avatar only one time, never watched it again. I just didn't really feel that like that. I have no urge.
I watched Dance with Wolves, and if I want to watch Dance with Wolves again, I'll just watch Dance with Wolves.
Exactly, or The Last Samurai. I like The Last Samurai. I'll watch The Last Samurai if I want something like that. I'll watch Last of the Mohicans. Those are good movies.
Right.
But anyway, I never saw Avatar 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the same kind of deal.
Yeah. So they said they're claiming like this is why we're the best diverse company, which is even more reason to avoid everything that they create. Fahrenheit Indigo Prophecy. So somebody in the chat mentioned they played Fahrenheit. Mm-hmm. Fahrenheit Indigo Prophecy 2005 is one of the first video games to present an LGBTQIA plus character talking about their personal life. Beyond Two Souls spoke about self-acceptance and everyone's right to be who they are without being judged. Oh my God. What is that?
Starred Ellen Page.
Yeah, Ellen Page. The late Ellen Page. F's in the chat for the late Ellen Page. She is no longer with us. But
and I do mean Ellen Page. She was still very much a female in that game.
Yeah, she was. Well, yeah, it was Ellen Page in that game. I wonder how she feels about this game exists. I'm sorry.
Right? I know. People should send her like maybe next time she's like signing anything, just walk up with a copy of it and be like, "Can you sign it? Can you sign the game?" Yeah. XX
is in the chat. XX. Right. XX chromosomes in the chat. Right. No, but it's funny that's their takeaway from Beyond Two Souls. I played Beyond Two Souls, and the one scene that stands out in that game, kind of early on, is where you rebel against your father, Willem Dafoe, who's probably the best thing about the game, and then you go to this bar, and because the game needs things to happen, right? You go to this bar. And it's like there's only two men in there, and it's like really late, and they try to assault you. They try to sexually assault you, and you have to like fight them off and escape. And when I saw that, it was ridiculous. There was like these guys were in the bar. They were regulars. One of them was the bartender even. And I was like, right. And because you're playing,
I've never been like this before, but this contrived situation prompts me to be like dangerous white man right now. I have to.
Yeah, that's exactly. They just turned into dangerous, rapey white guys, and I was like, that, and it's out of nowhere, and it's for no reason. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, who wrote this? And that's kind of like, and that's when I was like, okay, this game is obviously like got a political opinion on men, and beyond. Was it the last one, Detroit Become Human? That's the wokest one I played yet.
Oh yeah, well that one's all about transhumanism. That one is very much, devoid yourself of your humanity. Get in the pod and eat the bugs and
robots are better than people. Robots are black people. Robots are women. Robots are LGBTQ. Yeah, that's what they're saying. I basically gave it the most evil ending I could.
Transhumanism, the game, right?
Yeah, I did.
It is what that game is like their Shangri-La of the futures. This is what if only we could have people in service to robots and
Okay, so anyway, then Detroit Become Human evokes the struggle for the rights of minorities and talks about love overcoming any differences. Yes, that's right. And when I beat it, because I killed Jesse, whatever his name is, the black guy with the green eyes. He's one of the robots. He died. I basically, the only character I got all the way through was the android cop, because he's obviously the least sympathetic according to the perspective of the people who write this crap. And so I was like, he's going to be the hero. I'm going to have him win everything. I defeated the resistance. I killed the robots. And I actually treated them like, I remember when I did the streams, you can find the playlist of me playing through the game.
Yeah.
Through the whole thing, I was like, they're trying to get me to sympathize with toasters. I don't. They're robots. Nothing about them is human. And at the end, there's like the menu screen has a woman android's face, and she looked really disappointed in what happened. She's like, I can't believe that you did. She was like gonna cry. I was like, no, you're a robot. Shut up.
Yeah.
Turn the game off.
You don't have emotions. you're scripted to feel that way, just like the NPCs that bought you.
Yeah. It's so dumb. Like we're not that stupid. Okay, but anyway. So I guess we should get into the video. Maybe see, it's 12:19. I really wanted to talk a little bit about Alan Wake.
Right.
Because I put it in the title, so I kind of have to. But I will share. Let's do that. We'll come back to the videos at the end.
Yeah. Because they are fun, but they're like, they're kind of fluff.
Well, anyway, Dustborn is essentially the wokest game yet. Quantic Dream is in competition to be the wokest developer yet. So, there you go. Just be informed and let other people know.
1 week to go, everybody.
Yeah,
Prepare
it's coming
yourself.
out. It's coming out in a week, the 20th. So literally a week from today, or literally a week from today, it's going to be out. We'll see how it sells. I have a feeling it's not going to.
Yeah, we'll have to touch base on this one again in a little bit of time. See. What arises.
All right. So Alan Wake 2 has yet to generate royalties. Remedy forms new team to manage its game portfolio. Grums did a quick little tweet on it. I could just look at Grums' tweet because he's probably going to summarize it pretty well. SBI game Alan Wake 2. Yes, Sweet Baby Inc. was involved with the consulting for Alan Wake 2. Was touted as the successful Sweet Baby Inc. game. And even my friend, and I still consider him a friend, Mike J, who helps me out on Honey Badger Radio, he was like, I will reject the fact that this is woke. This is a good game. It's gonna sell well, because he really likes Alan Wake. Now I never played the first one. I did play Control, and I'm sure that Control had some some woke stuff in it because you're playing this woman. She's kind of girl bossy, and she's not that attractive. Like she's got this manly face. But I enjoyed the game enough that I was willing to let all that other stuff go. It was a good game. Right. It was fun, and it was free. It didn't cost me a cent.
The mechanics were sound, and so and that's the thing of what we were just saying. If you have good sound game mechanics, we can forgive a lot because we don't necessarily have to pay attention to the story. As long as I'm having.
I don't know what it was about, but I know that I didn't even know that it was connected to Alan Wake until I got a little bit into the game and I saw some cinematics.
Yep.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, I guess this is connected to that. But I never even played Alan Wake, so I don't have a basis. The story was already confusing, but I didn't really care. Right. I was just like, yeah, I'm just killing these guys. I'm just gonna keep doing that and flying around and
Right.
So
bullet time and reverse and all that kind of stuff.
I think so. There was a lot of interesting mechanics, and it had a really interesting graphics engine that I was really I thought was really kind of cool because it was almost like it had a film grain quality to it
built into it. Yep.
Yeah, it was very cool.
Stylistically trying to deal with realism, but limitations of processing power, and so we'll just put film grain in there, and that's what games used to do. They actually used to approach things creatively.
And it did a really good particle effects. There was stuff that was, and again, I didn't pay for it, so they didn't get any my money. But anyway, so Grum says they held it up as evidence of how SBI games can and do make money, but it turns out it's just another disaster for them. Western studios are not delivering the type of game experiences that gamers want. Meanwhile, Chinese and Korean studios...
that Game of Thrones meme, right? Cersei's being held up.
So, so we already know about the race swapping of one of the characters. And here's Sweet Baby listing this as one of their projects, but it's not generating any royalties for Remedy.
Just imagine this is what they consider their success of the last year. That's it. That speaks volumes. Because this game, it's not even. It hasn't even broken profit. It's still in the process of trying to earn its money back, and it's never going to happen. And this is their success.
Yep. Well, and the thing is, though, too, is
way to show us.
Yeah, you got us, girl bossing all the way up to the orbit. But
we now know better. The women suck just as much as men. Hey, we've reached equality. Look at that. Can we just go back to doing business? The
women
right
that are garbage at things are also exist. But I think that the thing is, though, what these people, gay race communists, what they consider to be a success doesn't have to do with money. It's about impact. No. And you said this, right? And this is what going to comic books for a moment. this is the reason why people like Sana Amanat, who used to be like essentially in charge of Marvel, and good friends with the Obamas and all that, but whatever. She said that it doesn't matter that people aren't buying the comics. It matters that the comics exist because they are having impact. So this is all about impact. And one of the ways they skirt this, by the way, where they don't have to worry about sales, is they turn them into public products. So Marvel, for example, has a bunch of comic books.
Company. It's about synergy.
Yeah. They also put them in public institutions like libraries and schools,
museums, things like that. Yep.
Yeah, they get around the whole appealing to a market. Yep. Like that pesky market.
That's why I say these things are actually, it's like, this is art that's done for, for the patron itself, and so like this goes all the way back through history. Like this is how art was done for the elites, and it's still done for the elites. And so they take this thing that people would be like, yeah, but elites, and elites is the wrong word, parasites. For the social parasites at the top amongst us, they've always gone and had artworks done specifically, and it's just a piece that's done where they commission it, and they commission it to be done exactly as they want. And because they're paying, it's not about your artistic integrity. It's about your ability to, do the work that you've been paid for. You're contracted to be, even with all your talent, skill, and ability. That's what commission works are. Is I don't give a shit about like your actual whatever. You're going to, and which to some degree seems like it would be a good thing, because it's like, well, yeah, just commit and do the work. But because it's about the ideology, that's, the propaganda. Like, I'm not hiring you as an artist to make something amazing and creative, and I just want to reward you and your creative talents. No, I want to bend and shape and use you as a resource to, my intentions and my will. And that's the marketing mastery that's taking place, where all these people who used to be creative wizards are being turned into corrupt sorcerers who, vie for, these systems of power. And then they have to justify to themselves everything they're doing. It's like, well, but I was just following orders. Well, that's like every fascist in history, So, but yeah, I detract.
It's okay. So yeah, Remedy has yet to see any revenue from Alan Wake 2. According to CEO Tero Vertala, Alan Wake 2 did not yet generate royalties. The game was fully funded by Epic Games, and Remedy will be entitled to 50% of net revenue after the Epic fully recoups its investment. As of February 2024, Alan Wake 2 sold 1.3 million copies globally, meaning it was still not enough to generate revenue for the studio. So there you go, boys. Keep at it. Give them what for. All right. Let's talk a little bit about Batman, because this should be disappointing for people who were big fans of Bruce Timm.
I'm going to type it into chat. Okay. Because it's hilarious. Like, this is the name that I came up with yesterday when I saw this. So right. Be prepared. Be prepared.
I'm prepared.
Right. There we go.
Where'd you put it in?
It's in the YouTube. It's in the YouTube chat. I'll send you through Discord.
I see it. No, I see it.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Penguin.
Penguin. Yes.
Yes. So yeah, we know about the female penguin. So what? Whatever. But here's the thing. What I think is the real issue is Bruce Timm's response to it. So like, Bruce Timm, at least he was like the hero of DC Comics. Like, if it weren't for Bruce Timm and the Batman animated series that came out in the 90s, that was like what put DC Comics on the map. Like, Marvel was dominating back then in basically every arena, and Batman the animated series was like a shock to the system, and a really good one, really good show. Really well written, and it seemed like he was like saving DC. Like, not only did he do a successful Batman show, but he did another successful Batman show, which was like the New Adventures or something. Right. And then he did Superman, and then he did Justice League, then he did Justice League Unlimited, amongst like award-winning movies like Mask of the Phantasm. So like not a slouch, huge impact, and he even like created characters that were mainstays. Like
well, what's
Roxy,
hilarious is like
go ahead.
Burgess Meredith, like the guy who played Penguin back in the 60s, like the cartoon from the 90s. Penguin looks like Burgess Meredith.
Yeah.
You know, like clearly, like the character is now based around like it was.
I think they changed him a little bit because wasn't he based on DeVito's portrayal originally? It was kind of based on the movies.
It's an amalgamation, but like the facial stuff, like, you know, like you can still see Burgess Meredith in the animation from the 1990s Batman cartoon, you know, and the like there's definitely an amalgamation of that and the Tim Burton aspect of it. But I mean, even looking at this tranny right here in the top hat, I can still see the actual Burgess Meredith.
Is it a troon or is it just a woman?
No.
Okay, yeah. So he just made a female penguin. Okay, good.
Yeah, yeah. It's a female penguin, but still.
Yeah. Well, so why the female penguin? So this is what I wanted to get at. So according to showrunner Bruce Timm, the penguin was gender swapped for Batman Caped Crusader because both he and series executive producer James Tucker felt that The Dark Knight lacked good villains. Like,
crazy.
Batman probably has, okay, this is debatable, but I would argue that Batman has, like, he's tied with Spider-Man for the best rogues gallery in all of comics.
Right. Well, that term rogues gallery exists because of Batman.
Yes. Like, how can you sit there with a straight face and say Batman doesn't have good villains? Are you kidding me? Like, I mean, like, it's like, who believes this? Who believes this unironically that Batman doesn't have good villains? Really? like he's got among the best. I think I like Spider-Man's villains a little bit more. I'll be fair about that because I think that they're, you know, it's not just a bunch of people with various psychoses, but the Batman villains are great. Like they're really good. Like they're way up there. They're better than Green Lantern's villains. They're better than Flash's villains. They're better than Superman's villains. They're better than Wonder Woman's villains. Like they're just better than all of them.
The most nuanced female villains.
Absolutely. And male villains. Like they're well realized. Yeah, and Bruce Timm made them even better.
Like they're psychologically driven, and so like they all have like these weird specific kind of kinks and like, you know, just divots in their personality, and so like through those flaws, stories develop, and that's what makes good quality characters. So I don't know, like this is like a guy who's completely lost his goddamn mind.
Yeah. So I'll read the quote again. I think that what's important is like the why. Because I but let's read the quote. Asked by the Academy's Christine Champagne as to why he made the choice to turn the Penguin into a woman, Timm recalled, James and I were talking about the overview of the show, and we said one of the problems with Batman as he is there's a lack of good villains. You've got Catwoman, you've got Poison Ivy, you've got Harley Quinn. But it would be really good to have more female villains. And off the top of my head, I said, we never really could figure out exactly what to do with the Penguin, what the gimmick for the Penguin would be. What if we gender flip the Penguin? End quote. So, okay, first of all, the Penguin is a good character by itself. You don't have to change anything. And in fact, this is the thing that drives me crazy. Bruce Timm made, like, if you watch the original animated series episodes, every one of Batman's villains or rogues gallery, whenever they got their episode, they were all a significant challenge for Batman and in a unique way. The Penguin's whole motif of birds was like alone. Do you remember the guy? Here's a great one. Do you remember the Clock King or the Clockwork King? And he was like he's like a little like D-list Batman villain. And they made an episode about him, and it was one of my favorite episodes is the Clockwork King. Because he's just some guy who knows what time it is. You know, like
what's really interesting about this too is for as much as they want to piss and moan and bitch about the patriarchy, Penguin amplifies and personifies bureaucracy and patriarchal, like, you know, if you're gonna do like that stupid like, kind of like, if you're gonna read something into someone, that's the guy right there. He's got a monocle, got the top.
He embodies elitism. It's like elitism. Yeah. And
so like the one thing that they could have been like, oh look, we've got a give me on like something that we can go after, and like, you know, and then they completely just change it to something else that like these people don't even know how to reinforce their own arguments effectively.
Mr. 0303,
you know, and that's
who's
what's
like
so hilarious about it.
Yeah, Mr. 0303, who's like a big Batman fan, he says in the chat, Penguin's struggle was to be accepted in high society. They rejected him because he's ugly. In his own right, he is a very deep character. Yeah, one of my favorites that it became my favorite Batman villain from because of the series is Two-Face. So like and Harley Quinn, like literally Bruce Timm created that character.
Right.
Like, she didn't exist she didn't exist before the show, and she was immediately a fan favorite. I mean, granted, she's gone completely like to shit because of, you know, they
turned 180 degrees from the initial thing that everybody responded to, and now it's just like, oh,
well, she's no longer fun. Now she's like making statements. So she was fun before. That was what we liked about
comedians
her.
are supposed to make jokes, not be jokes.
Yeah. So let's see. That's more of it. Interjecting with his own recollection, the aforementioned Tucker further noted, when he said maybe we can gender flip Penguin, I just got this flood of ideas. I was thinking of Marlene Dietrich in her tuxedo and Cabaret the musical and the art form of Cabaret, and I just started drawing. I instantly got a flood of ideas. Also, I was thinking a little bit of Harvey Fierstein and Hairspray and Divine. It was just like I knew instantly what it could be. That was the mission statement for the show in general, to do something that harkened back to the original, but flip it. We've seen live action animated versions of Batman on TV, so they are going for man and drag, because Harvey Fierstein was, and
that's what I mean, like it is a troon but not, you know, that's why I say, yeah, no, I see Penguin here. Like they're doing everything but calling it trans, but it's trans.
Yeah. Yes. So they're okay, let me see this a little bit more. So yeah, there's just people giving their opinions on this. So that's what he said. And there's plenty of great female characters. I even, like, it really annoys me that I even have to say that, because I think anyone who follows Batman knows, you know, Catwoman, Poison Ivy, Harley Quinn, Roxy Rocket. There's somebody mentioned, I think, a lesser known character called like Magpie or something. You can bring in characters from the DC world, like from other parts that are sort of operating at the same level. There's Talia al Ghul, and again, if you like this Cabaret Marlena Dietrich thing, why don't you just come up with a new character? Like, he gave us Harley Quinn. She's like iconic now. Why wouldn't you just come up with something new?
Why not have somebody that's affiliated with the Penguin that you can go, like, they have this thing called like generating heat and heat transference in wrestling. You know, where, like, you know, they'll go and they'll put a heater with somebody who's like already kind of renowned, and and here's now the guy that you're gonna, like, you know, be heating up, because every time you show up, they're there too, and so by association. But they don't want to do the work. You know, they just want, like, all the, you know, glory and, like, all the praise without actually building a goddamn thing. Hence the reason why now, like, you know, Harley has been completely removed from being who she was as a character. Now they have that stand-in Punchline, who doesn't even have anything other than I just arrived and I just am now Harley, you know. So everything that used to be that, like, just that's just me now. And it's like, well, then why do you exist? It's like, oh, because they ruined this other character. So now they've ruined two characters.
Marin Ribarek mentions Red Claw. I don't know who that is, but that, and also the Phantasm. Like, wasn't that that was a woman too?
Yeah,
right?
Phantasm,
like, literally
is like one of the greatest villains in all,
character.
Like, Mask of the Phantasm, honestly, when you get down to it, is the definitive Batman story that ever went into theaters. It may not have made the money, But when you actually talk about like seeing Batman as Batman in a movie, presentation, Mask of the Phantasm. That's the movie.
Well, ultimately, I believe that this isn't really about like adding more female representation. I think that's just a cover for essentially erasing like the male characters that already exist. And that's just how it starts. Like, because if you do it to Penguin, okay, it's not like Penguin has a massive like devoted hardcore fan base. Like Bane is probably a little bit more popular with people who like the Rogues Gallery, Two-Face, the Joker, even the Riddler. And so like if we do it to the Penguin to see how people react, and then if they overreact, then we'll take a break. We'll we'll take a few steps back. We'll wait a while, and then we'll try it again with somebody else. They already did it with Mr. Freeze in the Suicide Squad game, right? They made, there's all this canonical, arguments that people are trying. Oh, well, in the books there was this. Shut up. They're doing this on purpose. Like this isn't. You can't like people alter the canon in the original comic books because the comic books are always changing because they have to be constantly written. But if people stop respecting the canon as a history, because like when you're put in charge of a book line in comics, okay, it's not your property. You still have to honor what came before. You're a steward. Yeah, you are a steward. Exactly. You're a steward of the property.
It's not your building.
Yes, right. You don't get to just change everything.
Make sure people don't do graffiti or vandalism.
Yes.
Or get inside and fuck the thing up really bad. That's like your whole purpose. And but what people will do is they'll come in and they'll alter it a little bit. And if you don't say no, you don't like immediately say we're not accepting this, and then don't support them, whatever, then they will use that as pretense to change it more and more, and also in different places. So now that they've given us a female penguin in the show, they're going to try and put the female penguin in everything else and make it the new normal. And that's why you have to like say how Perry White became
right away.
Perry Black.
Yes, exactly.
And now
Nick
Jim
Fury
is
or Nick Fury. They did like an alternate universe. They made Nick Fury black. They based him on Samuel L. Jackson, and then when they brought him in to the movies, they just said and then they made that black Nick Fury the normal Nick Fury in all the books. Right. So now everyone is like, oh well, I guess he's black now. Like he's always been black. Even Samuel L. Jackson himself was like when they approached him for the role, he was like, I thought Nick Fury was a white guy. Like he knew who he was. He knew who he was supposed to be, and he knew it wasn't right. I mean, he did it anyway. But yeah, I mean, like this is and the reason why they alter the canon in these small ways is so they can alter canon in much bigger ways. I've said this many times. The purpose of changing canon in fiction is to alter canon in reality. And so, and they do. I mean, look, less than a month ago, okay,
art mimics reality, reality mimics art. It's symbiotic.
Less than a month ago, someone tried to assassinate a candidate for the presidency, and now the news isn't talking about it at all.
Right,
and they're still
try to pass it off as being an AI generated stunt.
Yeah, they've tried to say that. They've tried to say that, oh, he fell because of a loud noise. Like they're not addressing it at all. They're just, they're doing their best to rewrite history so that people forget. Yep. So yeah, that's the reason for this. Oh yeah, I know that I'm making links that may not make sense. Like what does Trump's assassination attempt have to do with
that's what this
a
show is
female
about,
penguin?
Is to let people know what we see at the surface level of pop culture today has more to do with 30 years ago and 30 years from now than it does in the last 30 days. And that's what we would all be, wise to actually learn, that a lot of the stuff that we're ever in the moment experiencing has so much forethought put into that moment, and so much that it wants to have come out of that moment, that the moment itself is just the vessel for the opportunity. And that's why we have to be aware to break the prism that they're trying to project over what's actually taking place. So it's totally and it may seem like we're making like these wide kind of like, how are you cherry picking that and getting that from that? And it's like, because I just understand that
you just observe the patterns.
And as somebody who was in art school, they tell you reinforce everything. you know, because it's only through the reinforcement that people actually get saturated, and that's why they do this whole thing on concepts like narrative design. And so that becomes the whole focus of the game. Everything that you say, think, and do in the game still has to refer back to the narrative design. And so it's quite literally the message in action.
Yep. All right, let's move on to another story. Give it like we're getting close to the end here, so we're gonna do like short stories, and give a quick thoughts on that.
Hits.
Yeah, quick little hits. So here we got. This is from Fandom Pulse. John Delarose. Shout out to John Delarose. He set up a Substack for his Fandom Pulse. This is probably because the main website is like covered in ads. So this is a little bit more manageable. So yeah, if you want to follow his Substack, Fandom Pulse, you can find it. Just go to his YouTube channel, John Delarose. But anyway, he says Glasgow Worldcon bans its own leaders as the science fiction establishment continues to decline. Worldcon in Glasgow has been a complete cluster with some odd bannings happening with Hugo Award admin Dave McCarthy and Vice Chair Ben Yallow. So this is a literature sort of science fiction convention where you write, you know, science fiction basically. And look, oh yeah, pink hair right there. That's how you know. And this guy's got purple hair. Great. Worldcon has seen its share of controversies in recent years as the social justice mob now controls this aging and dwindling subsection of science fiction fandom has gotten to the point where they're gatekeeping so many people they're creating their own death spiral. Now in a bizarre move, the Glasgow Worldcon has banned last year's vice chair and Hugo Award administrator while clout chasers brag about their being removed. With controversies, the controversies with Worldcon started with the Hugo Awards in the mid-2010s when the woke decided to give awards for identity politics, signaling in fiction rather than quality. It came to a peak when the poem titled "If You Were a Dinosaur, My Love," won the award for best short story, even though it was some strange erotic fantasy about the author's fetishes rather than any kind of story proper.
Reddit fiction.
So,
I get you.
It's Tumblr in the real world.
Tumblristas have taken over.
Yep. What I was gonna say about this is that I did do an interview with this group of science fiction writers who were more, I guess, on the conservative side, just not woke. And they were they got the label the sad puppies, and they were hated by these people. And I also remember the Hugo Awards trying to ban like I think it was like there was an award that was given and it had the bust of H.P. Lovecraft. I might be remembering this wrong, but I remember them denouncing H.P. Lovecraft and changing the award because H.P. Lovecraft, you know, to them they raised, oh, he was racist and all this stuff, so we can't honor him because, you know, we live in the time of like where everything is current, including people who died 100 years ago and whatever they believed back then. So, anyway, in 2018, Worldcon banned the editor-in-chief of Fandom Pulse, John Delarose. This is the guy who wrote this article. He's writing about himself, okay? After he expressed safety concerns from death threats that he was getting from people surrounding the science fiction fandom, the site decided to libel Delarose as a racist bully and subsequently lost a lawsuit. But let me see whether it was an artist. I want to get to the more recent thing that happened because
right.
Delarose is kind of they changed it to the spaceship. I think it used to be like a bust of H.P. Lovecraft, but
spaceship's kind of phallic.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. You know, you figure they'd be more with
though.
The tentacle porn, you know, like let's keep.
What do you mean a real woman?
Okay, so let's see. The thing. I'm gonna get to this. Dave McCarthy. So,
I'm gonna let you do this. I'll be right back. I gotta use the rest of the liquid.
Do it. Okay, so Dave McCarthy was okay. Here we go. I think I found it. In 2023, Worldcon came under fire for being in Chengdu, China, despite human rights violations in the country, which caused a lot of people to pause their attendance. It became mired in more controversy as the Chinese government sunk its tendrils into the Hugo Awards, disqualifying different works from the ballot by fiat. Now, Worldcon has banned Ben Yallo, the former Worldcon co-chair, and Dave McCarthy, the Hugo Awards administrator, with no explanation. The hate website File770 reached out to Ben Yallo for clarification and received this answer from him. I was told by the Glasgow committee that they would not permit me to attend the convention in person. I had all of the monies that I had paid returned to me. It came from the vice chair. I did not ask for an explanation since I accept that it's within the power we grant to Worldcon committees. Dave McCarthy was told, quote, this was done without explanation or any prior contact on this topic, and questions about it were not answered. Worldcon, seeming to be concerned about libel laws after the horrendous loss in the past, simply said, quote, the convention's formal response is as follows. Glasgow 2024, a Worldcon for our futures, believes in and respects everyone's right to privacy. Various sections of applicable Scottish and international law, including the UK's General Data Protection Regulation, legally limit what we may disclose. To maintain our commitment to individual privacy and confidentiality, we cannot discuss any person's membership status or attendance. These bans are under dubious circumstances and shows Worldcons learn nothing by ostracizing portions of fandom, as they've now taken to eating their own and making the circle ever smaller of aging fans who wonder what happened to the glory days of science fiction. So supposedly there were a couple of people who were very prominent members of this group that were banned because they're ideologically incompatible with the new ruling class, the new people in charge of the Hugo Awards.
Like that link that I sent you right before we started, which I think we'll go into that one.
Oh, the Python bans.
Yeah, I want to do that one on the weekend show because it is.
Let's do that one on Saturday.
We're talking about yeah,
because
it's same kind of deal where it really is about ideologies.
Yes, for sure. Okay, so one more quick one we're gonna look at. I picked it for you. This is our weird science segment. So I'm gonna let you tell me about this.
Right. So I mean, just like I'll give a TLDR on it in just the sense that. So I believe in, as people know by now, I believe in multifaceted state of reality. I believe in, like that we are kind of in this weird time loop that is being convoluted onto us, exploited by the parasites that wish to have life extension technology. And their way of doing that involves very weird science that goes beyond our understanding or comprehension or anything like that. But here we are in 2024 dealing with, a battle over time and space. And so what this article is basically saying is that they have finally, for the first time in their bending of quantum space crystals, they're now actually getting them to physically manifest at room temperature, which is basically saying that they're creating time gates. And so like this is a very small step, for humanity, the giant step for mankind. That's what we're dealing with. It's like this is the creation of the teleporter for Star Trek, and so this is how it starts. And so like that's all this is just me just posting a milestone marker of where we're at. Because as I've said before, we live in fiction. Our present day reality is more science fiction than it is anything else, because all the scientific facts and technologies that we built up over time were taken from fictional concepts and ideas and things that go beyond the natural order of things. And so we are very much caught up in this, high-end demonic technology, bleeding edge sorcery of now. And and we do get interesting things from like this show. We couldn't do this show without these things.
Yeah.
But our intention is to help actually give people more of an opportunity to kind of like look into these things themselves and think about them rather than just, oh, this is what you should think about it. And that's why I kind of bring this into the discussion, just so people kind of like think about where we're at, where we're going, and how we're getting there, and what does that look like, in these moment to moment kind of steps to the ultimate destination. And that's really like just the implication that you get from this article is more even than what the article is really even getting into. It's just kind of like, we can do this now. Theoretically speaking, 10 years ago, this was, just that. And now it is a physical, we are doing it. And we're going to keep building on this and make those, moments of time longer, or those, concentrations of time crystal density more, pronounced and manifested to, larger degrees. And so that's what I mean is like, they're building a time teleporter, so that's good to know, right? Like we should actually be aware of that. Like this is what they're working on.
Yeah.
When you wonder why it is that you can't buy your groceries the way that you used to, it's because all of our money and resources are going to this kind of stuff. That's what's really important to reality. For the parasites at the top that want things, they don't give a shit about you just being able to like feed yourself and like have a livelihood. No, like that's an obstacle. Like we're getting in the way of their resources to create these amazing kind of manifestations of technology, and they're just wanting technology to propagate itself now because we don't do it as precise as the machines do. But I think that in and of itself is it's that whole idea of a copy becomes more smudged over time, and what we were saying about diminishing a video game by turning it back into a movie property, and it loses something, and that's
losing a dimension.
Right. And I think that that's ultimately what's going to happen with a lot of this scientific research technologies. It's going to become more mechanized and automated, and the humanity behind it will completely cease to be a focus, and that will reinforce what it's ultimately about, which is the life extension technology at the cost of our humanity.
Yeah.
So, well, that's my weird science moment.
I'm going to reject it. But I mean, not what you're saying, but like the
right. As an individual, we should reject it, but we should also be aware that there's, this is the,
this is what they're doing.
The play that's being made.
Yeah. All right. So that was super interesting, and we will bring you more of these little things, as we do more shows. I want to like try and like format it so it's like we cover some stories, we talk about culture. Yeah, I'm not wrapping it up yet because we're gonna look at some memes. Okay. We're gonna look at memes.
I was gonna say the memes and definitely I know because we do need we have to watch those Meet the Cast videos. They are yeah.
We will send me up. Drop a link to them in the Discord while I bring up the memes. So we're gonna look at some memes. These memes were provided to us by the people who are in our Discord server, and if you want to join us in the Discord server, go into the link. There's a link in the description to the Honey Badger Arcade Discord, and the memes are quite dank. They get pretty dank in there, and so make sure that you're wearing the appropriate attire for that. And we're gonna share some of those right now, and so you guys could get a sense of like the tone of the people in here. So this one, me and the boys after ship posting from the UK. Yes, it's time for a meme review.
Indeed.
This one is pretty funny. I dig it. Thank you for that. We're all in prison, but we're together, and that's what matters. We have each other.
Right.
This one was pretty funny to me. Just because of what it says about PC Gamer. So PC Gamer made a tweet. I don't know if this counts as a meme, but I just think it's funny. Every penis in Assassin's Creed Odyssey rated. But don't sexualize women, please. Don't sexualize the women. And the Critical Drinker says, "Why do you still exist?" Well, it's because we put up with them. I don't know. They also get a lot of government funding. So here's another one. This one's kind of like you have to like know your deep lore to get this one. But here's Susan. Now you guys know Susan Wojcicki passed away recently, struggling with a bout of cancer. And so here she is in hell, and she's like, "What's going on? Where am I?" And a voice says, "Hello, Susan. I've been waiting for you. Let's have a little chat, girl to girl." And this is, what was her name? Do you remember the YouTube shooter? The woman who made these weird, like, creepy exercise videos? Yeah. And it was a few years ago. And she went to the YouTube headquarters like armed, planning to kill people. Nothing happened. I think she was stopped immediately, but pretty funny. Because she was killed too, basically.
Yeah. Because that's one of the things like that they used to promote the reason why they were doing all the stuff they were doing.
Yeah. God, I knew her name earlier today, and it's like
it kind of screams of kind of like a psyop,
yeah. All right. Let me see. Did you say? Oh yeah, you sent it. Good. All right. Let's look at a couple more. So this one has a little kitty, and he's on a train, and it says, "Be the reason they want to report you to HR, but also be the reason they're too afraid to report you to HR." Yes, just stay away from HR. I love this one. This one is pretty funny. Why am I choosing a fucking character class? And it's got pictures of there's a picture of deodorants for men, Captain, Nomad, Ambassador.
Because you're an NPC and you don't actually have any personality or character for yourself, so you have
men are defined by what they do. That's what it is. All aboard the crazy cat train. Here's another one. Metrosexuals be like. I don't know. I have a funny sense of humor, I guess. Love this one too. How Tolkien slept in 1937 after writing a bestseller with no female characters.
Indeed.
Oh, that's a good one. Okay, this one, I just think it's poignant. Dominic Izzo tweeted, "You don't get to tell me how oppressed your ancestors were if you don't even know who your father is. It's time to stop this divisive bullshit." And it's true. Like, I was actually, we talked about it a little bit last week where I was talking about how, was it LeVar Burton, who you might know as, from Star Trek, The Next Generation, or Reading Rainbow, and he was...
Or Roots.
Or Roots, yeah, there was that. And he was talking about like how he learned that he has an ancestor that fought in the Civil War on the side of the Confederacy, and it wasn't even that long ago. Like, it was like a great grandfather, and it blew his mind. And I was like, yeah, it's probably helpful that we know where we actually come from instead of like this abstraction of, oh, I was an oppressed minority because I was told by this, again, gay race communist. So, but yeah, if you don't know who your father is, you can't tell me about your ancestors because you don't know who they are. So there you go. Yeah, here's a good one. Complaining about unrealistic depictions of women in video games.
Right. Oh God. Yeah. Yeah. As I've said many times, it's not the years, the mileage, and those bitches been rode fucking hard. Okay.
Well, yes. Well, I don't know, man. I think that they've always looked like that, but the one on the left.
Right. Well, I just mean rode hard by life.
That's no woman, man. That's not a woman, baby. But anyway, yeah. So thank you for feminists for. I love this too because they got these illustrations made of them. Very flattering. Very flattering. Speaking of which, this I think there's a little bit like, I don't know if this needs a lot of explanation, but I think you may have seen this around where the UK police were speaking to the public, and they were escorted by several gentlemen. Do you see like which one of these?
Yeah, no, this meme is on point and a half.
Yeah. How similar are these things? Yeah, some dark humor. Yeah, a little bit. just something to look at. I don't know if you see any parallels, but all right. JD Vance is weird, says these people.
Right.
Again. Pretty good. Pretty good.
Source.
Yes, consider the source for sure. This is an older one, but I wanted to share it because it's sort of relevant anyway. So there was the Independent Amelie director says no to sequel because Paris is ugly now. You guys know that? I don't think you could make this movie today is essentially what it says. Right. And then lastly, we have this because of the Olympics. I it's kind of perfect. I don't know. Kind of perfect. All right, let's look at the Quantic Dream thing. Yes. Here we go. Opening it in.
I would do them in the order of the one that looks like Kim Bel-Air, because actually the most non-offensive one is the beta bitch made guy. If you want to start with him, like that will, and that'll ease it in. But like the three women characters, you can do either the blonde or
the cast
ones last.
We'll let the audience decide. So I'm sharing the screen. Am I sharing the screen with you right now? Do you see it? No, I should probably share.
Let me take a look.
Yeah, I don't think it's sharing right now. Give me a second. I don't want too many tabs open.
Right. Always have to balance the resources.
Yeah. So let me see. I may have to like share it again. Let's screen share. And we're looking at Quantic Dream. So there we go. All right. So you should be able to see it. See it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to let you guys decide which one of these do you want me to look at. Do you want to see meet the cast of Dustborn? Celeste? Who else we're looking at?
Sophia Ingar.
Yep.
Yeah, the Celeste and the Sophia ones. Those ones
are probably the best.
Those are those are peak 2024.
Norwegian
people.
says do it from least cringe to most.
Yeah, I would start with the dude, then Kim Bel-Air.
Oh, okay.
And then
so we'll start with this dude over here.
Kim Bel-Air, the dude, the beta bitch made, and then like the Kim Bel-Air stand-in, and then either the last two. You can do either the last two in either order because those ones are that's the special. So
all right. So let's play this one. So this guy is the least cringe, and of course it's the guy that's the least cringe. But let's play.
My name is Jay Rincon, and I play Theo in Dustborn.
Can you hear that? Okay.
Oh yeah.
Theo is a software engineer that is caught in this dystopian world, and he joins up with this band of misfits and takes on the role of leader, boss, confidant to the main character Pax. I love Theo's passion, and I love his story.
All my family's back home. No partner, no pets, no loose threads.
So he's Latino. Okay, I was wondering like what box does this guy check? Okay, yeah. So
was a long con for you.
10 years undercover with the Puritans.
The process of finding Theo's voice was somewhat kind of a complicated one. He's from Mexico. I have Mexican heritage in my family, so it's very, very close to home. But it's
okay. Look, if you have to say I have Mexican heritage in my family,
you must not have that much.
Not that much. Yeah, it's probably not that much.
Also, trying to find the accuracy between the accent.
I mean, it's like Elizabeth Warren, like
right, right. This is where he starts. Speaking of Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah.
Trying to find the accuracy between the accent and the experience that he's had living in America at this point.
I believe spending quality time with you guys in some classic video games.
I think beyond the accent, though, the characteristics of being gentle and soft and therapeutic. We tried to keep him in a nice, gentle, comforting place.
Oh yeah, so like a harmless.
He's a safe space,
beta male. Yeah, he's like the man,
bitch made.
But he's like he's not. Yeah, of course. You gotta fight that toxic masculinity. Especially as a Latino, because you know us Latinos are passionate.
Nip it right in the butt. That's right, because he's too fiery, you know.
Yeah.
He would be.
Hot-blooded Latino guys are dangerous. We need this one to be castrated, essentially.
So we could never get too aggressive or rough or harsh on the voice, and I think that's how we found Theo's voice, and I really love the place that we landed.
Took all that bass out. None of that.
Oh my god!
You know, problematic testosterone. Make sure I drank soy lattes the entire time I recorded.
It's kind of cringe to listen to voice actors pretend like their job is like so sophisticated. You know, we had to find his voice. What do you mean you found his voice? You just do a voice.
Dude,
like what?
You know how you find your voice? You adjust your fucking mic.
Yeah, you just.
Like, I found my voice by just making sure I had my levels correct and got the static out. Hey, what do you know? This is my voice.
All right, is Kim Bel-Air next?
Yeah, Kim
So
Bell.
Dominic Tipper. Yes. Okay.
Yep.
Let's see.
Yep.
Pax
She's the lead.
Hello, my name is Dominique Tipper, and I am playing Pax in Dustborn. Pax is essentially the very reluctant natural leader of the bunch. Her best friend, her ex-lover, a guy she doesn't know. They have a theme of being outcasts, and so they leave that society to find a better life for themselves. She is a very...
So wait. I just realized something. This game is literally, I'm moving to Canada if Trump gets in office. The game.
Right.
And what, just go to Nova Scotia then. Like, that's what it is. We're running because we're just so different and no one understands us. You know,
it's
we're
Handmaid's Tale's coming to get me.
Oh my God. Yeah, the Project 2025 is essentially what we're up against. It's so scary, guys. This is I'm moving to Canada, the game, which allows people to claim they're going to go to Canada just like they did in 2016 and 2020. And then they just play the game instead and they never go because they never go.
Right. I'm there in spirit. I identify with Nova Scotia.
Yeah. All right, let's they should call this game Dustbin, not Dustborn.
Right.
Dustbin of history. Yeah. Okay, okay. So let me guess this character, okay? She's seen a lot, she's experienced, she's tough, she doesn't really have any flaws. She's just like kind of like a badass. She's assertive. She has to be like the strong member of the group. Somebody said in the chat, I thought the other guy was the leader. Yeah, he just thinks he's the leader. She's actually the leader.
He thinks he's the leader.
He thinks he's running things, but he is not a girl boss. All right, let's listen.
Bold, worldly, takes no shit type of woman.
No shit.
And you have never seen this before. You literally
I've never seen this. Somebody like this in my life. Wow.
I know. Like I said, and that's why I was like, as soon as you sent me the link to this, and I saw these videos, like we have to make this the show. This has to be the show.
Yeah. Jesus
so good.
Christ. Okay.
Right?
Yeah. For being married to an old dead dude. But I think the people that love her kind of equally love that about her and kind of test it as well in certain moments. I actually think she's really hot as well, just like from how she appears.
Yeah, because it's based on you. You're
the
a narcissist.
Self-insert thinks that she's wow.
I think I'm hot. I can't stop looking at myself on the screen. These people are narcissists, guys. This is like what you keep seeing over and over and over again. Holy crap.
In the game and her energy, it's very like forthright. But she also has a very loyal and kind of sensitive
Of course.
side.
It's always that way. Oh, she's mean and tough, but also she's very like soft and kind on the inside. Like it's the same shit. Like you're not reinventing the wheel. You're just giving us the same bland Mary Sue character.
Like I said, this is literally the exact same character as Forspoken. And it's going to do as well sales-wise.
She can be quirky and funny, but also tough and mean, and she doesn't put up with shit from people. I've never heard this character concept before.
Right.
Anyway.
Do with the fact that she couldn't really look after the people that she wanted to look after. So there is a very loyal, loving side of Pax that we see in peaks throughout the game. Basically, she is able to manipulate with her voice.
He has no respect for you.
She is able to...
Oh, immediately putting this dude on blast. Like, let's go back a little bit, because I want to see...
Yep.
These are cops, so they're bad people already, because they're cops, and they're also white. But then the man is worse, because he's a man. So this is why she's, like, standing up for the woman, even though the woman is also bad. But she's not as bad as the man. Once you understand the power dynamics, everything falls into place.
He has no respect for you.
She is able to get people to do things, kind of fight with her voice. If I had Pax's superpower, it's so easy to be like, if I had that superpower, but like, how do you decide when
being
to
a
use
whinging minge?
Who to use it on? And I think she's constantly in a moral dilemma with that, and with the people that she loves around her, when she uses it on them or when she doesn't, and if she does, what are the consequences of that? But I like to think I would use it for liberation.
No, I bet you'd like to think that. I bet you'd like to think that. But yet, look what you're actually being tasked to do, you useful idiot.
Oh my god.
I'd like to think. I'd like to think.
Liberation.
Yeah, but right. But what you're actually doing is,
I think that she would.
Your mechanization of the machine. Right. But I'm just saying, like, she'd like to think that, obviously. But her whole purpose of being in this very instance is to not speak truth to power, but to be the quote unquote truth from the power.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is the cell job. You're the smokescreen, you dumbass.
But
yeah, go ahead and think whatever you think about yourself.
Yeah. I'm gonna play the last bit again, but I will say that it's interesting that the gameplay revolves. You play as Pax in the game, so this woman is who you play.
She's the
as.
primary.
Yeah, she's the main character, and you are using your words to control people. That's basically like what it is. You're using your words to control people, and essentially her superpower is nagging. That's that's what her superpower is.
A whinging ninja.
Yep.
Consequences of that. But I like to think I would use it for liberation, not just for myself, but for people that need it.
Yeah, and if you don't listen to her, she'll hit you with a baseball bat because that's how you negotiate.
Yeah.
When it comes
right.
You want the
and then yes,
Zer?
we'll do her. Yes, Large Marge.
Hi, I'm Safia Ingar, and I play Sai.
There's one more.
Oh yeah, there is one more, but this one she's interesting, and then the last one's just the cherry on top.
This is the mother load.
She's the most literally. SJW you think,
yeah,
but
of course.
Yes.
Of course, yeah.
I mean, she's got the bull ring nose and everything, but just it gets better.
Oh, okay. Oh, her okay.
Superpower is hardening and super strength. She has traces of vitiligo all over her skin, and that is indicative of her hardening ability, and it sort of spreads across her body when she feels angry or distressed, or when she's powering up, which is really, really cool. And she's also Pax's.
I have a vitiligo as a superpower. Hey, remember when vitiligo was almost unheard of and it was super rare, and now it's in all the video games? Why is it in all the video games? Why is it in Baldur's Gate 3? Why? What is this? What's the next thing? What about if somebody has like a, I don't know, chronic hemorrhoids? Are we gonna have to like put that in the gameplay?
I guess we just have to figure out what the next debilitating disease from Pfizer
what if somebody has like
is, and then we have to find and once we will normalize that, and not only normalize it, but like amplify it as being the thing that you want.
Yeah, it's such a. But I'm just saying, it seems an obscure pick.
Yeah, it's corruption.
It's an obscure pick. Like what if people? Why don't we have more characters that have like, I don't know, pubic hair that never stops growing? Like, why don't we see that? I want to have armpit hair that just like drags behind you as you move around. What about back hair? What about that? What about I don't know, like more quadriplegic characters? Like what? This is like the weirdest thing to like focus on. It's crazy. All right, but anyway, let's play this because I just started it.
His best friend and a percussionist of the band, synth percussionist. We're still working on it. We'll figure out a title soon. She goes way back with Pax. Everyone else is sort of fresh and new, and I think part of the story is her figuring out and negotiating her relationship with all these new people, even though she won't admit it.
My guess, she's gay for Pax.
I love her,
but just constantly has to sit in the background while she went off her
Pax
thing with her.
Yeah, there's a member of the group that's an ex though of Pax, and I think it's
that was a dude, and that's where, and I bet that's gonna be one of the things. It's like
of course,
yeah. She's gotta help her get over her straightness. her straightness.
Yeah. Oh, I see where the echo is at. Sorry about that, guys. I fixed it.
Why are you gay?
All right, let's finish.
Her anger and her passion and her excitement and her just unapologeticness. Like, she just does whatever she wants, with a certain level of anxiety added to it, like me, but she powers through.
This country is insane. I usually have a salad for lunch.
How is it possible that you can be like the biggest character in the group with super strength, which must come with some degree of hardness, and yet you're super insecure and always nervous? I know that people think that's quirky, but it doesn't make sense unless, of course, you're trying to take somebody who clearly has the most strength and the most agency and take that away and make them a victim of their circumstances. All right, anyway.
Lunch.
You know what? We'll just get you a salad.
Much appreciated.
Except this salad will be loaded
vegan.
with bacon bits and croutons and ranch dressing.
What was that?
Nothing.
What drew me to Dustborn, so I did the demo like a few
I'm assuming
years
the
ago,
paycheck.
and I remember reading the script and being like, well, that's just me.
You.
Did the script.
Oh, she's no. See, just like the other actors in this production, she saw the character and said, "That is me." Therefore,
that is me. Exactly.
Yeah, I am looking into a mirror.
That's why I was
must
like, we
see
have
myself
to include
reflected.
These.
These are bad. Thank you for sharing.
Yep.
Had so much fun working with the team and was like, hey, do this again with us. And knowing that it was sort of done with me in mind, Sai. Oh, there's nothing more rewarding as an actor knowing that you brought something to a character that other people
I told you, the cringe builds.
Like, validated and appreciated. Every time I come in for a session, I could be completely, can we swear? Completely on my arse. And I just think any project that allows me to feel that way is worth its weight in gold, and I'm honored to be part of it, even a small part, but it's quite a big part, so I'm excited.
Whatever his motivations, Theo's...
It's definitely a big part.
Yes.
Pun intended. Definitely.
Yes.
All right.
It's the real deal. So's this job, Sai. Oh, that's not me. Oh, they're talking to me. That's fun.
I want the people who love Sai and appreciate Sai. You don't even have to love her, just like understand her journey to be like, oh, okay, you know what? Like, what would you really do differently? It's like, actually, that's the point of storytelling, because you show people in these crazy circumstances where push is really coming to shove. And yeah, people are gonna make decisions that you don't agree with, and it's gonna be tough, but understanding it makes us one step closer to humanity and us really learning about other people, as opposed to just being like, oh, well, I wouldn't do that, so I hate that person.
Maybe one last word in Sai's voice.
Oh yeah, oh my God. Okay, enjoy the ride with us, guys, and play Dustborn.
What's going on?
Hi,
is it my internet? What's going on? Okay, here we go. F, can you guys hear me okay?
The cringe overwhelmed my my internet connection for
yeah. I'm still live, right? You guys can still see me. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's do the
last one. Before we do the last one, what's your guess? What's your guess? Why did I save this one till the end? Yeah.
Oh, the one with the white hair? Oh, because it's a Troon. That's my guess. I mean, either that or a non-binary or a lesbian or something. But basically, it just looks. Yeah, let's find out.
Right. Is it as obvious as it?
I'm Celeste Easy.
Well, I can already see this. The actress looks like they're non-binary. I knew it. See, it says right here. Yes, I'm a non-binary trans actor.
Non-binary trans.
Here we go. We're just gonna hear about it.
Yes.
Yep.
I'm Celeste Easy. I am a non-binary trans actor, and I'm playing the character of Gnome, who's also they/them, non-binary.
Oh,
and this is why I call today the Band of Others.
Yes, the Band of Others.
Exactly why I call the Band of Others.
Gnome, like Noam Chomsky. Okay. I mean, I know that's what you were going for, and I know that you think, oh, Gnome sounds really non-binary. That's why when these people like pick their own names. Holy crap! It's worse than when people are playing D&D. Okay, but anyway, let's hear about the non-binary trans actor playing the non-binary trans character who they totally wish they were.
Such a stretch.
Yeah.
Acting.
It's been a really, really enjoyable character to play because I've got to kind of find the most exaggerated parts of myself in them.
We're the Dustborn.
They're who I kind of want to be and also don't want to remind myself that I am sometimes. Gnome is very much like the theatrical side of everyone. It's not arrogance, in Gnome's opinion, but to everyone else it's arrogant. There is such a level of spoilt brat about them, but even spoilt brats have emotions and even they can feel that.
So this character is written like a Joss Whedon character. Sarcastic, cracking jokes, thinks they're the smartest person in the room all the time. Okay.
Yep.
That means overly like in your face. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gnome's superpower can be viewed negatively and can be seen as gaslighting. They're doing it out of a place of love. They're doing it out of a place of wanting to care, maybe more for themselves than anyone else.
So she has the superpower of gaslighting.
She's giving the game away. She's giving the game away. Right?
Don't look too closely at this. It's just a story, guys. Wow, these characters are not good.
No,
these are not good
and the cast goes out of their way to explain to you exactly in a shorter time frame than we just did every reason why you shouldn't buy this game.
Norwegian says, and I love this on Rumble, my new name is Lilith Starborn, Blarg / Zerself. Yes, that's it. That's what I'm saying. When these people come up, like when they change identities, their names, they're up there. It's like, you know, Moon Raven. This is like, God, it just kills me. Marian says, last time I checked, Gnome is a guy's name. Well, Noam Chomsky, I don't think he's a man, but okay. Maybe that's been like, I get what you're saying, but these people, they're weird and they call us weird.
Else. It's a very sociable power and it's very manipulative, sometimes in a good way, sometimes in a bad way.
Gnome, keep her calm.
What's good? What's manipulative in a good way? What does that mean? What is that?
My voice.
The message, you know.
And especially with their relationship with Pax, you can see how it can be negative and positive. I think Theo is very much more like a big brother figure. I think they look up to him. With Sai, it's much more on the same wavelength of kind of humor and playfulness, but also like banging heads at each other. With Pax, it's the most complicated. Obviously, playing Pax, you get to decide whether or not they're right for each other, and it's nice that you get to see how that works for them and how it doesn't work,
so
and how it's part of everyone's relationships.
Is, will Kim Bel-Air hook up with or not? That's your story. Is she gonna go with like the dude and continue her heteronormative what the fucks? Is she gonna like, you know, find solace in her friend who's been there consoling her the entire time because that's who really loves her? Or is she gonna like, you know, get caught up in like her like trans fascination, whatever fucking insanity? Like they're
totally doing that.
Yeah.
And you know that this thing, like there's like she has like a cybernetic arm. That's just a distraction. Oh, shiny. Ooh, science fiction elements. That's not.
Well, ultimately, trans is about transhumanism too. Is what I ultimately believe, and so they always have to put a little element of that in there. Is, you know,
that's true.
It's about getting rid of the humanity.
I talked about that on the show I did yesterday. No, it is it is essentially the ultimate logical outcome of transgenderism is transhumanism. It is, because it's basically saying the body I'm born in is a prison. I shouldn't like, and my soul should be
I'm just
else.
Consciousness, and I shouldn't have to be restrained by these limitations.
This meat bag that I sit inside of is not me, right? So it's true. But I also think that in this game, the science fiction elements like the robot, that's all just it's just window dressing, because that's not really what the game is.
Right.
It's this. Right. It's obviously these woke narratives.
It's the parlor tricks to keep you in the theater.
Yeah.
But ultimately, the magic is what plays out in our lives. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether or not it is a superpower they have, or it's just a lack of communication. I want players to feel it's so storyline based that I want people to feel connected to it, to emotionally actually involve themselves in it, rather than thinking of winning a game. It's more like experiencing it and maybe finding friendship in these characters where the players might not otherwise have.
So don't play games, guys. Experience them. Remember, I talked about this too, that people are trying to turn games into experiences, and that they've been using.
And it's not about you having fun as a gamer. It's about you experiencing the message of the, you know, And so it's like, well, what does this? So you're not even making this for me. You're making this for yourself and subjecting me to it. Yeah. Like they just come right out and say it now, you know, because that's like their NPC thought bots will go along with it. And that's what we're here to, throw static in the way of, and kind of
try to disentangle and create some clarity, because it's that's obvious what's really going on. So I think that's good. We covered a lot. I mean, that show went over, but it's fine.
But I think it was necessary because
there was just a lot to do
through this one thing. Yeah. I mean, this one thing came out of nowhere, but it does have a lot. Like, this is exactly what the woke mind virus is it tries to get by as as passively as possible without being seen, and then it's just there and you're just supposed to accept it. But we caught it with a week to go, so yeah, like now it's on your radar. Share this far and wide in terms of like how asinine and stupid and silly it is, so we can all start having a really good laugh starting next week,
Yeah. Well, I look forward to not playing the game, so
Right?
we'll see it. I'm really looking forward to not playing it.
I am interested in seeing how bad it falters though, and falls flat on its face.
Yeah. All right, so I guess we're gonna wrap it up there. So, we're just gonna wrap it up there because I got to end the show today. Thanks for the memeries, and give us your thoughts on this. Well, basically everything we talked about, the Quantic Dream game. Did you know about Dustborn? Is this your first time experiencing the experience
Welcome to the cringe?
Dustborn.
Yeah.
Don't think of it as a game. Stop trying to win things.
Right,
just
We're
break
here to
dance like
experience this
nobody is
together,
looking.
everybody.
Yeah, just break dance like nobody's looking. So thanks guys for coming on the show. Thank you, John, for joining me on this.
Oh, always.
If you guys, and if you guys like this video, please hit like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, hit the bell for notifications, leave me a comment, let me know what you guys think about what we discussed on the show today. And also, I'm going to be I'm hoping that I'll be able to do a show on Thursday with Mentis Wave and Airplay. And John, if you can make it, so and if so, that'd be cool. Otherwise, it's all right. And if I don't see you then, I'll see you Saturday. Thank you guys so much for coming on today's episode of The Week in Culture, and we will talk to you all in the next video. Have a good night, everybody.
With the glass ceiling broken, all the oppressed groups shall prosper, especially the most oppressed group of all, gamers.
I want people in the industry to be a little bit louder about people being mean to other people, and maybe say it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Maybe say we don't want you around if you're going to be a cunt.
Yeah.
And hateful. And that the games industry is diverse naturally. Not because anyone's making them be diverse, because the world is diverse, you stupid motherfucker. And if you have a problem with that, come fight me. Physically. Bitch.
Has anyone taken you up on that yet?
No, because they're all pussies.
Yep.
Down here, salt is a way of life.
Obviously, the environment down here is all salt. The ceiling's salt, the floor is salt, the walls are salt, and to an extent, the air is salt. And you breathe that in, and you can constantly taste the salt.